Farmall Fanatic, what's up, buddy? How's the new mic sound? Genlicious blog, hello, good seeing you. Ability Mom of Two, hello, great seeing you. Sounds good. I just did a video on it, and I think it came out pretty good. You like the mic? This is a Fee-Fi Technology condenser microphone, and it's available on Amazon. I think it's $40 or $29. It has a lot of controls, volume and feedback, or echo. It has echo. You can see what the echo sounds like. Echo, echo. It's pretty annoying, right? Echo. And it's a XLR, and it goes to your USB. So it's pretty easy to use. You just plug it in, but you have to go in the settings of your volume and make some changes in there and raise the microphone volume all the way up and whatnot. But it's going to sound different to everybody. Like, even though my laptop has Harman Kardon speakers, it still sounded a little like weak. Undead Otter, welcome. So I changed my position. Volkswagen Motard, welcome. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Going to pick up the little one later. You like the mic? Let me see if I could turn it so you guys can see it a little better. Yeah, that's a little better. I'm actually have it standing on a box. Oh, West Virginia. Okay, I was saying Volkswagen. Not my favorite car. But it's fine if you even drive one. Right, you should. Yeah, Mike's always talking into a mic sounds a lot better, but it's going to sound different to a lot of different machines and computers and cell phones, because everybody has different speakers. So it might not be as loud as some on others. And I mean, this is what I have. I'm trying it out. Motard is my bro. Oh, okay, buddy. Any friend of Undead Otter is a friend of mine. So if I'm back here, does it sound good too? Or does it sound better if I got to talk into it like this? Or do I sound like Howard Stern? That's my goal. I want to sound like Howard Stern. Hey, Mom, you rock. From WV Motard. GG Adams, nice friend, nice stream, my friend. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Let's get a couple of likes going. So I got my lights set up. I did it so like you don't see too much reflection on my glasses, right? I only got one light going. I have a lamp here, so that's going this way. I have my Himalayan salt rock. My trusty owl. I got this in St. Thomas on my second honeymoon, which is what marriage is over. Not for me though. I would definitely get married again. I like being married. You know, having a partner, and you go home, and as long as you can get along, you're on the same page. Yeah, right. Why watch the news? Exactly. You're better off getting the news from the grapevine. It's a lot more entertaining. People just make stuff up. Oh yeah, but it was about 10 feet. The other guy said it was 20 feet long, and the shark had a huge teeth. Meanwhile, back at the corral, It was a dolphin. My daughter was like, "Daddy, I saw huge sharks in the ocean." So, like, we live down the Jersey Shore, and there's no sharks down there. There's a lot of dolphins. So you'll see dolphins in the summertime all over the place. So I says, "Honey, it's a dolphin." "No, Daddy, it was a shark." Well, there you go. News from the grapevine from two little kids. Why is everyone boycotting Nike? Good question, WV. Well, I'm boycotting Mike. I mean Nike, 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 and I bought Nike products. Uh, One of the big reasons is that I don't think Nike products, for the money you spend, is that great of a product. They're very expensive, and to me, like all the sneakers that I've owned from Nike are squishy, ishy, and they shrink when they get wet. So like I have other brands of sneakers like Merrell. They're waterproof. They're very good shoes, very comfortable. Pumas of like limousines for the feet. Even though they're flat, they don't have an arch, but they're pretty comfortable. I've just recently bought Adidas. So if you're a DD214, you get a 20% discount. 20%. Um, and sneakers cause flat feet. They should put arches in sneakers, right? But the other reason why probably you want to consider staying away from Nike, even though you're a big Nike fan, maybe for a little while, you could always go back. We don't want to destroy the company. People work there. People have jobs, regardless of how much they get paid. They're still working, and the money they make is sufficient for where they live and vice versa. We need a lot of money in America because of the monetary system we live in that creates inflation, and we just need so much more money to live in America, where in other countries they don't need as much money. They don't have property taxes. They don't pay car insurance. They really don't need the things that we need or live the lifestyle that we want to live. So we're always looking for more money, and that's the way it goes. But the one of the other main reasons, James Tamboro, what's up, buddy? So the other reason why you may want to boycott Nike is because, as we all know, they took Colin Kaepernick, and we all know who he is. He's an ex-football player, and he's the guy who started sitting on the bench and eventually taking a knee. And it said that a vet told him, but even if a vet did tell him to take a knee, he doesn't speak for all vets. He doesn't speak for all Americans, nor does Colin Kaepernick, nor does Nike. So if you're going to protest, you should at least protest on your own time or approach the people that you have a disagreement with, because the police, like Nike or Kaepernick or that vet or anybody in this country, doesn't represent the United States. Then that's my point. That's why I made the video, and I said that we're a country, we're the citizens, we represent the country as a whole. Not one individual person, the president, the vice president, the richest man in the country does not represent this country. We do. And we proved it at the last election when they thought that election was a slam dunk for a particular candidate. And it turned out to be a nightmare for these people who thought that, with news feeding and all this stuff, that, people were going to believe them. And it turned out that they didn't believe them. Because the news and the media, they don't represent the United States. And the other thing about the media also is that the media, a lot of it is owned by external sources, meaning companies that are not based in the United States or with investors that are solely dedicated to this country. Because if they were solely dedicated to this country, we would be living we would have more positive news, or they would tell you news that makes sense with common sense, not ridiculous news that they take sound bites and they twist everything. And that's what we've been living with. And the same thing with Colin Kaepernick. Now, he's a good football player. I have nothing against him. He tried as an athlete. And like every other athlete, in any sport that wanted to be successful. And I'm sure Colin wanted to be successful. He wanted to get a Super Bowl ring. He wanted to win championships. He wanted the big money like everybody else. And you can't hold that against the guy. Now, I don't know if he took the knee to make himself famous, because he did turn down a job, I think, with the Broncos or a certain team that offered him a little less money than he was going to make with the team that he left. So what does that tell you? The guy's lazy? The guy don't want to work? Why would you turn the job down? Like if somebody came, like if I had a job and I lost my job and I wanted to play football and I loved the job that I do, and somebody came to me and said, listen, John, we know you have some sort of skill sets. You're not the greatest in the field that you are, but you're a reliable guy. We think you're going to be good with the company, but we can only pay you this amount of money for now. So if you improve and do better, we may give you more money. Now, Colin refused that. So what are you trying to say by taking a knee and then refusing a job? So you didn't lose your position as an athlete in the NFL because they didn't want you because you took a knee. You lost your job because you didn't want to play for less money. But people work 3 jobs to watch you on cable. That people pay, $200 a month for cable, $250, $300. They go nuts. Take care of them, James. They go crazy just to pay the bills. Donnie Attic 615. Hello, how are you? Glad you stopped in. So we have James Tamboro in the stream, and Ability of Mom 02, Dooney Addict, VW Motarb, and a few other people. Thank you, Dooney. So the media is trying to say that Colin is not working because of people are racist. I'm not racist. I don't think anybody in the stream is racist. Nobody's racist in this country. It's more like, what is racism? You don't like a certain person because, you don't want that person taking your job or this and that, because it's not racism. There is no, we're just here to survive and we're trying to protect what we have. So if you call that racism, then call it what you want. But I think it's just people that are just trying to protect what they have and try to keep a certain standard of living. So the news said that Colin couldn't get a job because of, the lashback of people that wouldn't support him on the field, which is not true, because somebody offered him a job and he refused it. So my thing is I understand you want to make a stand. You want to say, the country has injustices. The country as a whole is injustice to one particular group of people, and one particular group of people are doing the injustice. So I'm saying, how is it that we are all to blame for the injustices of a few? Even if the president does things that are bad, right? The governor, whoever, we're not to blame. We didn't have anything to do with it. When you listen or you stand for the national anthem, you're standing with your fellow countrymen, right? Even though they're ex-cons, they're police officers, they're unemployed, they're ex-drug addicts, they're whatever the case may be, they're there. You're all standing together as a country. So how can you say when you're Colin Kaepernick and you take a knee and you're telling everybody in the stadium, if you don't take a knee, then you disagree with what I have to say? Because that's what it is. So all the other football players all the other, let's say, athletes and some politicians that took a knee during the national anthem or during the Pledge of Allegiance is saying that we're all at fault for one guy's bad actions. I mean, what do you want us to do? What can I do to stop a police officer from, let's say, doing the wrong thing, shooting a person on purpose? That's murder. I mean, the guy's going to go to jail. There's due process. If the other cops let him off, it's a shame. But that's what the national anthem stands for, and the flag. The flag is something that represents our country, and it represents our country to the world. So if you disrespect the flag, you're telling everybody, I hate it here. You're just crying like a baby. Instead of saying, this country's good, but let me change it. Let me be a better person. Let me be the better person to make things better, rather than burning the flag or peeing on it, dragging it through the streets, whatever. That's not the way to do it. It's like, it's your home. We live in the United States. This is our country. We all live here. I don't know if there's anybody here that's not American, but that's fine. But it's the same thing for your country. That's your country. It's your home. I mean, you want to hurt your own country? That makes no sense. So for Colin Kaepernick to say, oh, the national anthem stands for, police brutality. I mean, if you took the amount of police brutalities that took place during the United States, which I don't have the figure, it's probably high. It's probably high. I'm sure there's a lot of, cops out there that are a little nuts that are going to go after people for no reason. And they're people. That's why it happens. You give somebody authority, they're going to take advantage of it. That's just the way it is. Like a president can take advantage of his authority, or anybody. It's funny how all those stars still live in the USA, and they said Trump get elected, they're moving on. True. Right. And no one has moved because they're not going to find another place as good as this country. And there are great other countries out there, but deep down inside, they're American. They love this country, and they're not being honest with the people. And they're all still here. I was going to say, like, when I said, like, leave the country and take Rosie O'Donnell with you. I think that would have been funny, but that's how I feel. So anybody who disrespects the national anthem, you're disrespecting everyone in the country, because not everyone feels like you. So there you go. That's respect. So that. Some people don't know how good we have. We have it very good. It's true. All right, Dooney. Take care. Great seeing you. Have a great weekend. And we have it good. And that's why a lot of people, when they come here, even the border crossers, people who fly in and stay, people who come in on cruise ships and stay. I mean, there's so many ways of getting into the country. But, the border is one thing, is one way. And there's, you can fly in. But even those people like that come from underdeveloped countries don't even have toilets. So when they come here, believe it, when they come here and the guy who's helping them, whoever it is, shows them a bathroom with a shower and a comfortable commode and a sink you can wash your hands in with clean, fresh, sparkly water, they're going to be like, wow, this is awesome. Even when they go to Europe, I mean, they're going to be like, wow, this place is fantastic. Sandy K, hello. How are you? And that's why a lot of people, try to migrate here, is because of the fact that we have the resources, And I don't mind helping people. We should help people, but like, they say we should help people, legally. Thank you. And, So Colin, I believe, truly, made a big mistake in using, our national anthem, which has gone through good periods and bad periods. I mean, that's just the way we are as people. We go through good and bad. So the country has gone through good and bad to develop. People say, oh, this is not your land, it's the Indians' land. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. But, it is what it is now. We're in America, Indians live here, they have it good. They have what they want. They got their casinos, they have their land, they have their water. They don't pay taxes. So, I mean, America tried to help them, and they do receive help. I mean, some of them, are what they are. Still sick, getting better. Oh, you're sick? That's good. Well, that's not good. That's good that you're getting better. And even like Colin saying that, telling young people, oh, the police are committing brutality against you, because like if you read the comments, oh, thank you. If you read the comments, you see like a lot of Black Americans have been saying, oh, you don't know what we go through and this and that. And, everybody goes through it. White people get beat up by the cops as much as, Black people or anybody. If you're gonna resist arrest, you're gonna get beat up. Like I've gotten pulled over by the police, and if I get out of the car and I start cursing them and telling them, you're racist and this and that, and calling them all kinds of names, he's gonna take me out of the car and try to arrest me, because you can't do that to a cop. I mean, they have authority. I mean, if you haven't figured that out yet, if somebody hasn't told you that police in this country have authority, and as long as you cooperate, they're not going to beat you up, because you get pulled over by one or two cops. If they have to call for backup, you're going to have a problem. Gamma Autism, how are you? Good seeing you. You're going to have a problem. So the best thing to do is when you get pulled over by a cop, is to don't resist. Right. I mean, when I was a kid, the cops would come to the schools. They would, show us how to cross the street, put dolls in the middle of the street and have the cars destroy the dolls. So, we would like physically see that the doll got hurt. And it might have helped. I mean, I think I was hit by a car once when I was a kid. So, but I mean, like when I was in high school, we had a cop. His name was Officer Mulhern. And nobody liked him. Nobody, but he never really did anything to anybody, I don't think. He was just a cop. And we had that mentality like, oh, the police are bad. They want to give you tickets. They want to hurt you. My son, who's 8, was hearing people talk and was thinking he couldn't trust them. Yeah. Because right away you're giving them a negative view of a policeman. Colin is disrespectful, and he should apologize. He should say, I was wrong. I wasn't thinking what I said, and so should Nike. Nike should say, listen, we support the police 100%. We support the military 100%. We support the government and everybody in the United States. We support you because you support us. We buy their sneakers. They sell sneakers all over the world, but if you want to sell sneakers here, we're buying for Nike USA. I'm sure they have Nike Italy, they have Nike Ireland, they have Nike China, right? And they have all types of different sneakers that they sell in those countries, because I used to sell sneakers, and people from all over the world would buy my sneakers because they couldn't get American-made sneakers. They wanted them because they were different. So if you go to Europe, you might see somewhat of a different type of sneaker, Nike sneaker that people wear that we wear here because they think that we like something versus that they don't like something. And it could be true. Who knows? Can't trust. Right. Some, I mean, it's true. Some police, you can't trust them. Like it's a known fact that a lot of people were arrested and went to jail that were innocent. They were framed. They made up evidence against them. And it's a shame. I mean, it's really a shame. But in general, we're talking about like street cops, cops that walk the beat, because that's who's pretty much doing all the fighting, all the one-to-one confrontation. And I'm sure out of all those cops, you're going to get one that had a bad day. He could be an alcoholic, a drug addict, and he's trigger happy. He's just, maybe he wants to leave the police department, and that's his way out, or whatever it is. But you can't blame every single cop, police officer for the deeds of one, maybe even 100 cops. New York City has 40,000 cops. I'm sure maybe 100 of them are bad. Let's give them 1,000. But you can't blame the whole police force on those people. We've seen the movies. What was that name? Serpico, when he was the rat. He ratted out all the policemen that were taking money. And it is what it is. But you can't disrespect like the country for something that you disagree with. If Colin had a problem with police, he should have approached the police and told them, I have a problem with you. Not I have a problem with the whole country. How does the whole country get involved with these people that get involved with the police? The only time I've been involved with the police is when I got speeding tickets. And it's my fault. I sped. So what am I going to do? Yell at the cop? And I've been pulled over by black policemen, and I had no problem with them. Actually, one time I got pulled over in Newark Airport, and the guy was black. He was a Port Authority cop, and I talked to him, and then he just let me go. So, and I was very nice to him. I wasn't disrespectful because I know, he's got a club on him. He's got handcuffs. He's got a radio that he's just going to call his buddies, and they're going to come in 2 seconds and pound on me. And I'm going to lose. You can't win. You can't win. Maybe like if you get killed in the action, maybe your family's going to get an inheritance, but you're still dead. So, all you did was help somebody else, but you're gone. And boy, I could probably like, RG Homestead, how are you? So, some of the comments I got. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, kept buying Nike, even though he says Nike stuff is crap. Well, that's just, like people have said, if you're so proud of your American flag, why not donate to homeless veterans in need? And since Nike signed Colin Kaepernick, all Nike apparel is trash. You people really are a bunch of fools. What a shame. Many homeless people would really appreciate those shoes. You American people are so hypocrite because you always unrespectful about other countries and other people. All that things that you have is because your government made conquests and interventional decisions. Listen to this one. Around the world, stealing and injuring innocent people. You are funny and ridiculous, such an idiot. But you have to realize that, like, what I would tell this lady is, we're in America, right? What happens around the world is a completely different thing of what the video is about. The video is about, someone saying that by taking a knee, that the whole country is a fault because the police have done, things to certain citizens, which is not true. I mean, then if they believe that we go around conquesting, what about all the good we do? I mean, what about all the money we lend out, we give to other smaller developing countries? Helping them find water, helping them with medicine, all kinds of stuff. And they think that all that comes free. You know what I mean? It's like your child. When you take a child to a store and they want you to buy them stuff and you don't have the money, they don't understand that. They don't understand you don't have money. So you try to explain it to them and they don't care. They think like money grows on trees. And that's like the kind of comment this lady left. She thinks like this country is built with leaves from a tree. I mean, corporations go around buying up corporations. That's just the way it is. Here's another one. I'm with Adidas now. So somebody called me an idiot, a skinhead. Nike is shaking. I don't know what that means. Why can't you give him? So a lot of people were complaining that, I should have gave the sneakers to the homeless, to whoever needed them. But that wasn't what the video was about. Like, the other thing too, I didn't want to give them away because I didn't want people wearing them to advertise them. Because if you're wearing it, people think, oh, see, they're wearing Nikes. So I just threw them out. They weren't even good. I mean, like a lot of them, like I'm size 11, so they didn't even fit. So if a guy gets them and they're size 11, they're not even going to fit them because they, like I said in the video, they shrink. So if you get them wet, a lot of them shrink and then the toe curls up. And then those like high top sneakers, they just, your foot is so loose in there that you walk around and the shoe like moves. It's not even a real gym shoe. It's just a cheap leather top sneaker. It's nothing that great. Right. I am 6+ and still in the right. Where's that money tree come from? I mean, people are complaining about the weirdest stuff. So somebody says that Kaepernick should donate his hair to me. I gave him a heart for that. That was funny. Hey, idiots. That is not enough. You should buy more Nike and burn it. Yeah. I know what he means about that because a lot of people say, oh, you spent the money. Why would you burn it? I never wore them anyway. So I figured I'm just going to get rid of them. And I made room because they stink. Like sneakers, after a while when they get old, they start to smell. So one guy says, them ugly ass Nikes, you need to burn them. They were ugly, weren't they? Don't get all tripped up over it, bro. Yeah, I mean, like, why are you getting all upset over the guy kneeling? I mean, why, then you could say, well, why are you cheering him? Like, why do you think that he's a hero? So people like, all the dislikes. Well, the other thing too is like Nike agrees with Colin. So Nike must think that all Americans are guilty for the actions of a few. We're not guilty. We are in the same position as anybody else. We're here. We're just working. We have nothing to do with the police. We have no say what they do. The only say we have in public organizations is the PTA, right? Like if enough parents write a good letter, make good statements, they could change something in their school, which is true. And then the other thing we have is we can vote. We go and we vote for a candidate. Like, we voted Trump in, or, you vote in whoever you want to vote for. Atlantic Grassi, hello. So we have no control over the police. Like we can't go and say, oh, we want the police to do this. We want the police to do that. But if you complain enough, you can't possibly reduce police traffic in your area. So if you consider where all these things are taking place and you look at the demographics of these areas that these people don't want the police, why? If you're committing criminal activity and they come into you for a reason and you're running from the police for a reason and they catch you, they're going to throw a beating on you, just the way it is. Because they don't want to chase you. They want to say, stop. You stop. Freeze. You freeze. Get on the ground. You get on the ground. And then they handcuff you. Get up. You get up. Be quiet. Be quiet. What's your name? Give me your name. That's it. But if the guy says freeze and you keep running, eventually you're going to get tackled. You're going to get stunned with a stun gun. You're going to get chased by a dog. It's just going to happen. What do you expect to happen? So instead of Colin being realistic about it, Cerebral Killer, hello, what's up, buddy? Being like a realist and saying, you know what? I was never arrested. Because why? Because I went to school. My parents gave me what I needed, because they had the ability to. I played football. I was smart enough not to get arrested. That's what he should say. Colin was never arrested. Many police agencies have civilian review and have them on the staff, having done it for 30 years. Oh, okay. So we have a say. Thanks, RG Homestead. That was a good point to bring up. So we have some kind of, right, because you could actually leave a comment for a police officer. You could put in a letter. So, there is some kind of repercussion from the public to the police, And it is what it is. Like if you drunk driving, you're drunk and you had a couple of drinks and the police pulled you over and they framed you. I mean, it's really sad, but it's not the country's fault that you got pulled over. It's not my fault. Blame the individuals who are doing you harm. Because like what I was saying, a lot of the comments that I repeated, that I answered, I said, when the national anthem goes up, I said it before, we're all together on the national anthem. That's the one song that brings us all together. So now if we don't even have that, then where's our country going? If we can't even agree on a song that says, okay, I believe in this song, no matter what it meant 50 years ago, 100 years ago, today it means that we're all united Americans here for America to help America be a better place for everyone. Maybe the police will change when they see more good people out there. Maybe they'll become better people, better police officers. Maybe more people will change. But then all these other athletes taking a knee with him, what are you proving? The national anthem is a song written by a slave master. That is not unity. Okay. All right. I mean, I give you that. That's true. It was a slave master. I mean, was he a master? You know what I mean? I mean, the slaves lived on the land with him and they all had to, cull the land together in a sense. So they were technically working together, for a common cause. And that was so everybody lived. I mean, it's a shame that this country went through slavery. I mean, I always said that they should have never, agree. Because what happened is this, DJ, it's like it's happening today. People have jobs, right? And companies need people to work in their companies, like car companies, IT companies, all kinds of companies. And then there are companies that produce machines to replace people. And that's what happens. So in the South, rather than getting people to work for pay, right? So here's a for instance, like in the United States, we had a coal boom. We had a steel boom at one point. So there was no slavery. right? Or else perhaps they would have used slaves, let's just say, okay? So what did they do? They built these rinky-dink towns, right, around their factories, so people to live in. So if you go to Philadelphia, you go to a lot of these coal mines, a lot of these steel towns, you see these row houses that they had to build to bring the people to work in their factories for pay. Were they making a lot of money? Were they getting rich like the coal owners? No, by no means were they getting rich. If you go to Pennsylvania, there's a coal mining museum. And it is one of the best museums. I wish I could find it. It's one of the best museums tours you can imagine of American history, how these coal miners in the East Coast during slavery lived. They were living 15, 20 people in a shack, in a little house. People would actually sleep on the roof. People would like bathe in front of each other. There was no room. And I'm sitting there listening to this and I'm like, wow. Now, is that slavery? Even though like, you were free to come and go, but then again, you weren't free to come and go because anything you purchased at the general store, you owed them the money and they would take the money out of your pay. So what a lot of people did is to keep their jobs and keep their homes, they would run a high debt in the general store. So let's say they owed the store $100. That was probably a lot of money back then. So if the company wanted to fire you, they would lose $100. Think about it, right? So I'm not comparing that to slavery. I'm just saying that, in this country, in order for it to become what it is, people suffered, and people suffered in the factories in New York. They had little kids picking out little pieces of coal and they were paying them peanuts, pennies by the hour, working these kids 15 hours a day. Okay. They went home. They didn't have they weren't on a plantation and I'm sure those people were getting beat up. Like if you didn't do a good job, they probably throw you right out the window. They could care less. There were sailors that if you got sick, you were on a ship or something like that, they would throw you overboard. Nobody cared. Back then, no one had the sociological studies we have today. No, sir, they were not working together. Only the masses got paid. Well, I don't know, DJ, if you're still here, and we as people forgot that time was different and the think was completely different than it was. Right. So what happened was, DJ, it's a sad time in history. I'm not for it, but there is slavery still going on today. Not in this country, but in other parts of the world, there is slavery, and no one is speaking about that. No one cares about those people who are still practicing slavery, who believe in slavery. The United States does not believe in slavery. We're completely against it. Everyone is. So can you say working for Walmart making $8.70 an hour is slavery because you're desperate that you need the money? That's what it is. And what I was trying to say before is that you just got property from the right, RG. So like these big farms were actually taking land from smaller farmers, hurting them, and not even hiring them back. So that's how pretty messed up it was, because people don't even think of that. Like, yes, working for Walmart is right. So like during slavery in the South, there was actual a sort of a slavery in the East because the factories needed attention, because back then they didn't have OSHA. There was no communication, there was no computers, there's no record keeping. You could do whatever you wanted. Versus today, look what happened to Hillary Clinton with her emails. Now, if that was back in the Kennedy days, that would have never came up because everything would have been done by messenger, like by pigeon courier. There was no emails. Everything was letter and just rip it up. There was no way of stealing someone's email. So so what happened is this, DJ, Believe me, this is what happened. You get these farm owners, right? So what they did is they called out to England and says, we're going to take all your prisoners because we need labor, but the big mistake was that these farmers made is that they were cheap. They were greedy. They didn't want to pay people because there was no money in it, in cotton. They had good cotton years and they had bad cotton years. The weather had an issue with it, with the cotton, and it was very labor intensive. So they started telling England, send us, talk to me. I'm listening. Thanks, DJ. I appreciate that. And I'm glad we're having a good conversation. That dude, what's up, buddy? So if it makes any sense, right? I mean, I never read this in a book. I just thought about this on my own. Okay. Maybe I saw it. I just thinking that I'm making it up. But these guys needed people, right? Because now they're taking land, and you see it on like Bonanza, guys going around stealing land. So it was happening, people they didn't like sheep. People didn't like cows. They try to introduce camels in the country, and all the ranches didn't want them. So it's a lot of back and forth. So a lot of these farmers in the South, growing cotton, whatever they had to grow their own food as well. They needed more and more and more labor because they were taking farms away from other people, and they were just trying to get as big as they can to be the biggest. Like, Bill Gates, why does he have $85 billion? Why does anybody have $85 billion? He can't spend it because he wants to be the big dog on the block, right? He wants to have a say in what it is. So somebody approached one of these farmers and says, hey, I got you a guy here, and here he is. And he introduced a man from Africa, from whatever country came from, Nigeria, whatever countries they had on that continent back in those days, because the countries changed, but Nigeria is still around. England back to South for the money in the continent. Right. So now you have all these ship owners, right? The Dutch, and they were just ship owners, right? They didn't go, and their job was to transport cargo. Like they transported cotton, they transported lumber, and that was a big thing too. Lumber, it's just a big project. So somebody like today comes to your company and says, I have a machine that's going to replace 4 people, like you can see in the Home Depot or in all these big box stores. They have these self-checkout machines that people now can just check themselves out. And I think in some stores they have a gun. You actually go around and scan all your items and pay right there with your credit card. On the way out, you put the scanner down, and you're done. So what are those scanners and everything for? They replace people, right? Because they don't need people, because they have something to replace. But back in the South and in the East, they needed people. So England, I guess, couldn't arrest enough people to send to the United States. You know what I mean? Or even to Australia, because who knows what was really happening in Australia when England sent all their destitutes or prisoners to Australia. If they, that's what they said. So I don't know if you know where I'm going to. So then, somebody approached the Americas and said, we have these people that, we can sell you, or they'll work for you for 10 years and then you free them and you give them land. And that's how it was in the beginning. They weren't automatically enslaved, like without any chance of freedom. It's Angela. Hello. So over time, somebody went to court, sued one of the slaves that he's supposed to free, and the judge sided with the guy who had the contract with the slave and made him, permanent indenture. It was sorry because there wasn't any lawyers that really helped the guy, and that's one of the reasons why this country had slavery, because there wasn't enough people in the country to work, and the slave owners or the farmers weren't smart enough or had the ability to set up the towns that these steel mills and these coal mines were able to set up. Yeah, a lot of hate, but a lot of people were kind of comical about it, and they said some good things. There was some positiveness, and I didn't respond to anybody negatively. I responded to everybody, with calm and collective attitude. Not to make them think that I'm angry, because I'm not. I'm upset. That somebody would blame, like, the United States that happened. Even slavery. You can't blame the country. You can't blame the land. You can't blame the home you live in, because it's people who cause the problems. It's not the land that we live in. It's the people. So you have to blame the people. Every time a black person is shot or killed, it is a racist. Meanwhile, he's wanted or warrants. Right. I mean, there is a point where some people, being black Americans or white Americans or Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, whatever it may be, get, shot for no reason. Like, there are people in jail that are in jail that for no, that were framed. And that's wrong, and that's completely wrong. And there's a point to that, but that's not the whole country's fault. That's the fault of that one particular person, power, and he abused it. And that person should be blamed, not not the country. Excuse me. That is a nice version of slavery. What about the lynching, hanging on trees, with the whole town taking selfies with the corpses? Right. I mean, I don't agree with that, bro. That's totally wrong. I do not agree with it. It happened in this country, but then again, it happened, white people are persecuted as well. I mean, I'm not condoning the fact that what you just said, DJ, but there are other people who are persecuted. Christians are persecuted. There are people who are persecuted, but it's not the country's fault. You know what I mean? It's not everybody's fault. We can't all be blamed. See, because, like, you have Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud believed in the developmental theory from childhood to death, right? And he said that we as individuals are our own fault. We create our own, we make our own beds. Then Carl Jung came along and he started the whole sociology where he's blaming society for the actions of one. And that's where we are today. That's what liberalism is. Rather than blaming the individual, we want to blame the whole country. And that's what Colin Kaepernick did by taking a knee, by disrespecting the national anthem. Whether it's a biased song or not, that's what that is. And Nike has taken his stand and said, yeah, we agree with that. We believe that you and me, DJ, are to blame for the police. You're not to blame, buddy. I'm not to blame. That guy, right, that's behind that badge, that is licensed to carry a gun in public and shoot people, is to blame, because there's a lot of cops who've got the shit knocked out of them for not wanting to pull his gun and shoot the guy, which I'm sure he wanted to. And I've seen it on videos. Like, I've seen police officers fight guys and get the living crap beat out of them. And they could have easily pulled the gun out and shot him. And shot somebody, whether it was anybody, any American citizen could have been shot in that situation. So, like, there's good and bad in everything. I mean, for pedophiles, you're going to blame the whole country on them? On bad teachers, are you going to blame the whole country on them? You can't, because it's them. This country doesn't preach police violence. They don't go to training to say, shoot your suspect in the back. That guy's nuts. If that guy did that, he's a mental case. He should be removed from the police force. And there are police officers that are going to help their buddies. That's a given. Leprechaun TV. This world is getting more violent. Exactly. It is. I agree with that. The songwriter and anthem represents that of a lot of people. Right. But today, the United States and the people that live in it believe in due process and believe that everyone is not guilty for the actions of others. I never shot anybody. You know what I mean? I never wished anybody, like serious harm. Maybe like you do it if you're mad at somebody, but we're smart enough not to do that. That's why we're not in jail. All those people in jail, yes, there are a few people that were framed, but 99% of them are there for a reason. They're murderers. They're just people who can't function in society like everybody else, if you want to call it normal. And I could just imagine what those correction officers go through, because you have to think about it. I'm not defending the police, but you think about it. I mean, in New York City, there's 8 million people with 40,000 cops. So if you make a division, that's 200,000 people per officer. One guy has to police 200,000 people. So imagine in a correction facility, one officer polices maybe 50 people, but they're face to face every day, every minute of the day. That could be a difference. So the police are outnumbered, so going through, seeing all these crime scenes, seeing what these people can do to other people, to their own children, to their spouses, to innocent people, it maybe puts a little hate in them. And they want to eliminate these people that are causing problems in the world. And it's not just black people getting shot by police. White people get just as, I think white people are shot more than black people. That's what I heard the statistics are. I love my country and I don't want to see our country. Right. So when you kneel in front of millions of people and you're a politician or you're a star and you show the rest of the world that this country's no good, that's hurting your own house. You throw rocks at yourself. It makes no sense to do that. Show that you're an American. Show that you believe that this country is, because this country is good. Right. Kneel before God. Right. I think it was Tebow. They all yelled at him for praying and kneeling and showing his faith. Right. And that wasn't good. So, I mean, nobody wants to see a cop shoot somebody. Like during the first Los Angeles riots. I mean, is that necessary? Like to riot? Like who causes that? Shelly Bear, hello. I mean, who causes that? Those are horrible. Watching this, I can see where you guys are coming from. I hope you see good, bro, because we're not. We're not. I am anyway. I'm just trying to say that we may have our differences, but in when it comes to the nitty gritty, we're all Americans. So if we can stand for one song together, united, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's been bringing people together. Why even at that one song we have to have disagreement? We have to have anger. We have to see each other that I did something to you, right? I mean, think about it like that. I mean, that's what that is. Then I'm sure like some of the football players didn't want to kneel, but they had to because of peer pressure, Thank you, Shelly Bear. I made a video about it. It should be up soon. I'm going to start editing. When that nobody here is racist. Cleveland had a weekend of homicide over Labor Day holiday, right? Blue angels in their air, and people are shooting like it's the wild wild west. People are so angry, impatient, undisciplined these days. DJ, we have disagreement with that song because the song was created under oppression. The song was created at American War. Okay, I agree with you. I really don't have any history on when the song was created, but if you are right, okay, it's a new day, bro. The song now, it's here. We have the national anthem. We have "Oh Say Can You See." Oh, is that the national anthem? Oh, say, yeah, right. Can you see? And I think I'm not really too keen on the song because you can see I just made a complete idiot myself. But it is our national anthem, and then we have what? God Bless America. So, like, if you go to Yankee Stadium, they don't use the national anthem; they use God Bless America. So, what does that mean? I mean, it's just a song that unites us. That's all it is. At the time, the guy who wrote it, he had some slaves. Maybe he was a good guy. He treated them good, or he was bad and he treated them bad. Like people are treated bad today. You could see on YouTube. I mean, people are treated like crap. For the stupidest things. Fighting. Oh, you took my mustard. Oh, I was going to get soda first, so let's wreck the joint. People are hot headed. That's how we live today. Because what do we see a lot of in it, and it's ghetto stuff. Would a Jew ever stand to a song written by a Nazi, and especially if the song celebrates the killing of Jews? Well, I don't think the slave owners would want to kill their slaves. I mean, it would absolutely make no sense to kill your own slaves. Maybe some of the slaves did something. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Probably not. But Jews drive German cars. Jews travel to Germany. Jews wear German apparel. They drink German wine, and it's made by Germans and that are not Jews. So that too, like the Holocaust. People should get over that. Stop like every 5 minutes, like bringing it up. Let it go. Move on. Let's go to a better place. Let's end the negativity. Derek Turvels 44. What WTF is this fake liberal outrage? Okay, I'm not a liberal, but DJ is a very good man. He's a gentleman, and I really appreciate that, sir. And he has a right to tell us how he feels, and I feel for the man. I understand where he's coming from. We are who we are. He is who he is. He grew up seeing things in a different way than we did. You know what I mean? So, he has a different idea of what it is. Right. Right. From 1533. Wow. Where was that? Yeah. I mean, slavery, it's just a shame. I mean, slavery, like I said, slavery is still practiced today. And I don't see anybody calling out the people who are practicing slavery today. I mean, there was a lady caught in Manhattan, a multimillionaire having people in her luxury spread of an apartment trapped as slaves. And one of the ladies was able to run away and go to the police, and the lady was arrested. So slavery does not exist in this country. All the money in the world couldn't save her. You know what I mean? And the lady received a green card on top of that. So now she's working as a maid legally, making more money. I was taught to forget stuff after a few days, not keep bringing it up. Sorry, I guess my parents are stupid. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, they bring up slavery because it's a subject, and people write books about it. I mean, it's just a shame. It really is, that people can't understand that, it was a sad time of American history. It was a time where labor was scarce. Farmers needed labor, cheap labor, to make cheap cotton because they're all competed against each other, and somebody, I don't know who it is, approached these farmers to sell them these people. The American farmers did not travel to another continent, and take these people. They were brought to them by other people that weren't American. Then when they got to the shores, they had, markets that you can buy people, like, which is sad. I mean, it really is. It's sad. But that's the reality of it. It's like people that see like white people shooting animals in the jungles and in the forest, and they're holding them up. And I told my friend, I says, why do you keep posting this stuff? I says, do you know who's behind these memes? Mrs. Craft Beer Paws, hello. And of course, you don't know who it is. So I said to myself, I says, well, think about it like this. Can I rent a car, fly to the jungle, right? Which is, let's say, the African continent, because they have parks there, because now they're all parks. Get off a plane with guns, right? I got all these high-powered rifles, bullets, right? Excuse me. Rent a Jeep, a Hummer, a Range Rover, drive into the jungle, right? I'm just going to drive in with all my bullets and just start shooting. Is that what really happens? No, that's not what happens. What happens is you go to the park, you get a permit, and they take you to animals that they want to comb, they want to get rid of because they're aggressive, they're sick, they know they're old, because they're all tagged. All the animals are counted for. If you go to these parks in Africa, even forests, even parks in the United States, every single animal is counted for. They know how many bears we have. They know how many grizzly bears we have. They know how many fish swim in the ocean. They know how many bugs there are. They know how many eagles we have. They count everything and every person on the planet. Everything is a number. So anytime you see anybody that's hunted like a lion or an elephant or a giraffe or any kind of animal, that animal was counted for and paid for. You know what I mean? There's no Tarzans in the world that are going to go into the jungle and start shooting animals. It doesn't work like that. Even here in our own country, you have to get a permit to take an animal. Then you have to tell them that you took it and tag it and report it. Same thing fishing. You have to get a fishing license. Now, you don't have to tell them how many fish you took, but they limit you to 2. Let's say 2 striped bass, unlimited bluefish, 5 flukes or flounders, because they know how many fish there are, and they know that if people start slaughtering the fish, there won't be any, the fish numbers will decrease, because it happened to bluefish. So when I lived in Brooklyn, we used to go fishing in Sheepshead Bay, and we can just destroy them. Take 100 bluefish if you can catch 100 bluefish. And then time went on, and they put a limit on them. They were like, you could take 3 bluefish. So you're going to pay $70, well, at the time it was like $25 to catch 3 fish. And they had to be a certain size, because back in the day, you could catch any kind of bluefish. Now the limit on the fish is lifted. So you can catch as many bluefish as you want, but striped bass, it has to be 36 inches long, and you can only take 2. So if you're fishing and you don't have a fishing license, saltwater licenses in New Jersey are free. Freshwater licenses, you have to buy them because the lakes are stocked. And they catch you with a short or too many striped bass, you're going to have a problem. You could watch like Alaskan State Troopers, how they go after poachers, because that's what you're doing. Once you catch over the second fish, you're a poacher. And same thing in the jungle. If you see a picture of a guy like they show the Trump brothers, shooting that lion, they probably paid like $10,000 for that lion. That lion wasn't cheap. One, they had to fly there, rent hotels, hire guides, get the guns, because I'm sure they didn't bring their own guns. They gave them the guns there. They picked out what they wanted to shoot with. They drove them to the lines and said, shoot that one through your scope. And that's the one they shot. They didn't walk in there and start shooting. That doesn't happen. So it's the same thing, with the slaves. They didn't walk in and get those people. Somebody there bought them here, through chains of sales. I'm the wholesaler, I sell them to you. You're the ship owner, you put them on the ship, you deliver. It was a really sad thing to do. And I say that the farmers were dumb. They should have just paid people. But they probably couldn't put up the housing and stuff they did like they did for these other people that they had. But again, I guess they could have, because they housed them. If they had 100 slaves, they could have easily hired 100 people and housed them. But then the price of cotton would have went up. So it's just, it's just common sense to not believe that, slavery was a bad thing, but it was an important thing. And the slaves that did come here, were an important part of the development of the United States. We needed them. I guess the farmers needed them. And they brought them to the Caribbean, and it was worse for them there in the Caribbean than it was for them here. Here they said that they were treated a little better than the ones in Jamaica, in Haiti, in the Dominican Republic, or that is, I think, Jamaica, in the Bahamas, because those are all like sugar plantations and all that stuff. And, it's sad. I don't know who's still here. But going back to Nike, Nike took a stand and agreed with Colin that the whole country is to blame for the acts of a few people, which we're not. Nixon, got impeached. Okay, what he did, was it our fault? No, we impeached him. He got himself impeached. Nobody impeached him. He did it to himself. Hillary Clinton, she got herself unelected. Why? Because she acted alone, and she didn't get elected. And the people voted against her. And that's what happened. So it's like the people are not guilty for the actions of certain people in the of what people do here. So just to see if there's any more. Right, like people say the flag and the national anthem mean nothing. That's one comment I just got. These bell ends are hysterical. You use the F word. Is this some type of joke? These are like all fresh comments. Burn your own flag. Butthole, Nike does not care. He's saying F you, America. Idiot, doesn't know. Look up, Trump tard. Forget about it. People are upset, that somebody, said something that makes sense. That we're not, that's all I was just trying to say, that we are not to blame for the actions of anybody in this country. No one is to fault but them. So if Nike wants to redeem themselves, they should say, we're sorry. We don't agree with Colin. We believe that all Americans have good hearts, they're good people, and they want to see the best for everybody. Because that's what Colin's message should have been. He should have said, when you come in contact with a police officer, don't resist. Sit on the floor on your own, right? If he had a peaceful, the saying that DJ says, the people should not be held responsible for the acts of a few. Unfortunately, we are many times, just ask the Japanese. Well, I mean, that was war. you know that was again, a different time in history. The Japanese wanted something, we wanted something, we didn't agree on it, we went to war. The Japanese were foolish to go to war with us. They sided with the Germans. There's a lot of reasons why we went to war with the Japanese, or the Japanese went to war with us. Why did Europe lose the war? Why did the Germans and Japanese lose the war? Because they weren't together. See, even though they were allies, they still didn't agree with each other. They just became allies to show that they belonged to a greater force, but they didn't, because they were actually screwing each other, with promises. You know what I mean? Like, Hitler made a promise to the Russians that he wouldn't attack them, and then he did and took their oil, which he succeeded in taking pretty much all the Russian oil fields, but he wasn't able to control the country, so they had to leave. So that was a waste for Hitler, and that's a whole another topic. So the Japanese knew what they were getting into. I mean, you got to be stupid to say we could beat a country with 4 aircraft carriers, right? And they didn't even have, I think they had 3, and then we sunk them all in Midway. And then they built another one, the Tahimoto or whatever, the Hishimoto. Then we sunk that. So one of the biggest reasons why America is the greatest power in the world, because we have the greatest Navy. The Navy wins our wars. The Navy won the War of 1812 in Saranac Lake. It destroyed the British fleet, and the British surrendered. That was the end of it. Once the American fleet blew up all the English ships, the War of 1812 was over. Because the British, politics are not that smart. So you got to say to yourself, the British have so much naval history that they lost to a young country like the United States. So their generals are idiots. But then again, at the same time, they were fighting the French in the Battle of Waterloo and had superior weapons, and didn't bring them to fight the Americans in the War of 1812. So, so like the Japanese and the Germans being allies but not being together, they lost the war. It's the same thing with us. Like, we could all be a people, we could all disagree and not stand together. Eventually, in the long run, we're going to lose. Who do you want to win in this country? You have to ask yourself. If you don't like the national anthem, whatever it stands for you, that's the song we have, and God Bless America. Then what are you going to stand for? What, you're not going to stand for anything? What did Colin Kaepernick or Nike change is what I want to know. What was his real motive too? Like, did he come out before he started sitting and kneeling and saying what his motive was? No. The media made that up for him. He just sat and he didn't tell anybody, because he knew his career was over. So he just sat and he waited. And then they say that a veteran, I mean, there's thousands of veterans. Who knows what veteran said that to him, and he kneeled. So what does that mean? That he still didn't say why he was kneeling, until he was interviewed by the press. He didn't make a statement and say, I'm going to kneel, I'm going to start sitting down because of police brutality. Exactly. I'm not guilty for what Tom and Hack. Exactly. DJ Southpaw. My son is in the army, and he said to me that it really hurts me to see these guys. Well, yeah, it's really sad, and they're probably like veterans who agree with Colin, you know, because in my opinion, they don't understand what the flag stands for. You know, the flag represents our country at like in the United Nations, everywhere in every country. When you see the American flag, it represents us. So if you disrespect that flag, you're just disrespecting your own home. So why would Nike agree with that? You know, why would Nike agree with flag burning? They're not an American company anymore. Are they a Russian company? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the Russians are the enemy now. You know, the Russians have been the enemy for a long, long time. A long time. We never had one battle with them. You know, so either we're afraid of them or they're afraid of us. But then again, you know, the Russians only have one aircraft carrier, old ships. You know, their heavy industry is over. After the Cold War, the heavy industry ended for them. So they don't have anything. You know, they might have like a few good tanks, but they don't have the naval power we have. And that's what it's about. You know, Navy. Without that Navy, you're nothing. Because we could bring the fight to you. You know, even if you're coming to us, we can come to you and destroy you because we have almost, I think, 11 aircraft carriers. No one could blow them up. It's impossible. You know, so I think that Nike should apologize and say, you know, we're very sorry. You know, we love this country. Our company was built on the citizens of the United States, and then we grew to other countries. You know, like Dell Computers. You know, Dell started in America, IBM, and then they grew to other countries. So they owe us something. You know, they owe this country something. You know, we helped them grow, and now you want to turn around and say that, you know, we're not worthy of respect. Right, right. You know, people join the military, you know, for different reasons, for education. You know, they want to kill people. You know, they want to get strong. They want a career. There's a lot of reasons. Same thing why people join the police force. You know, they want to go in there and use their gun. You know, and if you're stupid enough or you're unfortunately enough caught in that, you're going to be the one they're going to target. It's like a murderer. You know, like these guys. Remember, I don't know if anybody remembers the Son of Sam. He just went around picking people and shooting them. You know, he didn't care who he shot. He just shot them. Cheers. Little coffee. The mic. So the other thing too is like they say the other thing that got me mad, not mad, but I was thinking like, how ridiculous is this? They say that he sacrificed. Well, what did the guy sacrifice? He was a mediocre player. He did his best like any other football player, and he was cut. You know, not only that, somebody offered him a job for less pay, and he refused it because he was offered more money being an antagonist than being an athlete of what he was. So now, if he was a stand-up guy, he would have took less money to play, to say, well, my love is for the game. I love football. You know, I'm going to show people that I really love football. So maybe he didn't like football that much. That's why he wasn't that good. Maybe he didn't want to be there. Maybe he was afraid of getting hit, of getting hurt. You know, and that's what happens to a lot of quarterbacks. They don't want to get hit, so they don't play that good. So they don't play as much. They want to get their contract, play the 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, and get out, make their millions, and get the hell out. That's it. Where you get like other quarterbacks who they're not afraid of getting hit. They're not afraid of getting hurt. And they're great. They get better and better and better. Colin wasn't that great of a football player. So he took another direction and became a protester, an antagonist, a troublemaker, a rebel. Right? Think of it like that. The guy's a rebel. You're in front of millions of people watching you, and you're going to rebel against your own countrymen. Right? We're all countrymen, whether we like it or not. We all live here. I'm gonna say it's your fault, and that's what the left wants to do. The left wants to. That's what racism is. The left wants to create this racist agenda, saying that white people are guilty of something. You know what I mean? What am I guilty of? Like, what are we guilty of? We're not guilty of anything. If you get hurt, it's your own fault. When a cop shoots a white guy, you never hear nothing. I'm sure there's probably cops shooting white guys all the time, killing them for no reason. Whether they're rednecks, Guidos, whatever they are, they're getting shot. Where's the outcry of that? Not that I'm condoning shooting, black people, but they need to stop doing that, to stop saying that white people are to blame for something. We're not. We're not to blame for anything. I never owned a slave, so I never shot anybody. I'm not a cop that shot anybody. I go to work. My taxes pay for all this stuff, all our property taxes. So we're not at fault. And that's the point. That's what people should start telling you. It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. The national anthem represents us all. So when you don't stand for the national anthem, you're disrespecting the people that, believe that you're part of the national anthem. You're part of the country. So you're saying, I don't want to be part of this country anymore. I don't like it. Then do something positive to change it. What was his remedy for all these cops? What is the remedy? What's the remedy? There's no remedy. All it is a cause, an action with no end. Right? What was his message to the police? Is what I want to know. I'm playing with my owl. Well, DJ Southport, thank you, son, for his service. So I'm glad everybody likes the mic. It's pretty cool. It's all metal. Looks like it's pretty good quality. People said it sounds good. I don't know what it sounds like. I did a little testing and heard it back, but I guess it's going to sound different to a lot of different people because of the devices they have. If they have headphones or listening through speakers and the quality, it's a big thing. Because I've seen guys with mics that sound really good. Jerry's Woodworking Shop. Hello, buddy. Yep. I'm still beating the bush, beating the drum. Well, I was just showing like a lot of the comments I was getting. So let's see what's new. Um, Need to learn what the message is and don't bend the meaning. Kneeling is to protest the fact that in America, police brutality exists and the American system needs to be changed. It's symbolic. Also, you don't protest when no one notices. Nike's message will prove to be on the right side of history years from now. The ad is brilliant. Burn all the Nike stuff you paid for, all you want. It doesn't hurt Nike one bit. At some point, those will be replaced by more Nike stuff. Profit for Nike. You can't boycott Nike since they make all kinds of jersey and sporting gear literally no way. So this guy believes that it's America's fault that individual police officers commit brutality on individual citizens. Would you agree with that? It's a flag and national anthem. You F-wit. It means nothing. So to this guy, the flag and the national anthem mean nothing. They have no meaning at all. So like the whole purpose of being a united we stand is out the window. So we're not united. Burn your flag, but Horror Nike does not care. Idiot doesn't know how to try on shoes. So sure you're saying got a pair. Yeah, there's so many like comments. I mean, then there's ones that are likely spam. The guy's a joke. I mean, there's just so much. Then like I could just like yes and no to these. If it's all about the vets, you should have donated the clothes to the homeless vets. Nike doesn't give a fuck about you or your 10 articles of clothing you bought from Walmart. I didn't know Nike sold in Walmart. Might as well have burning crosses and wear a white blanket over your face while you're at it. Go full KK. It's okay. You're racist whites. Don't have to hide. Trump support you. Now, I'm going to okay that message. That was pretty funny. Well, I've never been into Nike. I don't support slave labor in Asia. New Balance is way to go. I never knew New Balance was made in the USA. Michael McReynolds, what's up, buddy? Hello, John. How are you? You doing this afternoon, my friend? I'm on lunch break. Can't stay long. No problem, pal. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Oh, that's a good one. He educated people on New Balance that they made in America. And I tried New Balance. I just don't like them. Wow, look at the outrage. People talking more shit about Cap than they are about those punk ass priests humping on little boys. Maybe some of those goofy ass off brands can give you their shoes and shit to some of those all queer boys at the Catholic Church has been running. So, I mean, rather than trying to comment on the subject, they go off subject, which is like this has nothing to do with about police brutality. So I'll okay that. Laughing my LAMOA. I love you. I love how you're going out of your way to support German products. Why? Because I like Adidas. Whatever happened to open borders, universality, one world. So now it's out the window. So now I shouldn't support Germany because, they're German. This is the liberal mindset. But I'll okay that. There's no harsh profanity in it. You lame as F. Yeah, that's stupid. I'll just delete that. The cops just love everybody. Yeah, right. The cops love beating black people and you enjoy it. John Franco, you are racist. How do I enjoy it? Well, I mean, if you see someone doing something wrong, like say for instance, right? Like, you see a guy robbing a purse or breaking into a store or pushing an old lady, you know where my drift is, right? I'm gonna okay that. And then some guy comes over and teaches the guy a lesson. You'd be like, hey, right? You're gonna cheer for it. So hello, if you know the guy is doing the wrong thing, he or whatever he did, and the cops caught up to him, and he's resisting arrest, and they plummet him, and maybe he dies in the process. You're gonna think, wow, the guy deserved it. I mean, it's just it's just the way it is. You get a guy who beats his wife, and the cops go in there, and the lady's like all sprawled out on the floor, her teeth are knocked out, the guy broken nose, shattered her tail. Who the hell knows what he did to her, right? And then the cops is like, beat the living daylights out of him. That's police brutality. That's justice. You know what I mean? I mean, they never say like what these guys did that got beat up. Like the one guy, I think back in California, like he was being chased and they finally chased him and they beat him up. He grew up a little bitch. Who cares? Who cares? Be a man. Worry about yourself living. Who cares what's on TV? Girls like you do. Ha ha ha. Well, yeah, I mean, he's got a point. Like, why should I care? Right? Yeah, I'll okay that. Ha ha ha. They are cheaply made and disrespect the USA. Why the F did you buy them then? Well, I didn't know how Nike felt then, and I really wasn't into any other sneakers because like Nike's out there. They throw their brand out there. You know what I mean? That's all I knew was Nike. I mean, I wore Converse when Converse was Converse, Pro Keds. I wore Pumas. I wore Adidas. So Adidas was around way before Nike and Puma. Puma was around way before Nike. So Nike is new in the game, and they're an American company, and they probably got a lot of support from Americans, and that's how they became rich, a big company like that, because of America. And you have no right to disrespect Americans or the national anthem or the flag, because that flag made Nike who Nike is today. Adidas is nowhere near the size of Nike or Puma, or Reebok for that matter. And I think Reebok, I don't know if that's an American company. Oh, here's one. And you're a racist, so stop it. And Americans are such a bunch of pricked, bunch of racist. I think he put a D instead of S, who have no decency for others. Wow. Americans have no decency for others. So people have to differentiate what an American is. Okay. I'm an American. I'm an American citizen. Okay. I have decency. I have no control over politics. The only control I have is I can vote. And hopefully the politicians that we elect to represent us does the right thing by us and by other people in the world, right? And the same thing with the police. So in reality, you can't blame all Americans for what goes on in other parts of the world. So I'll okay that. Oh, here's a good one. You're a drunk F that has no right to live at all, and you hate on this amazing brand for completely different reasons, so stop. We don't need people like this in the world. So this was the same guy as before. So I gave him one yes. I'm not going to give him this one. I'm going to just delete it. Here's another guy. Just like Americans, selfish Fs. Rather trash clothes than donate. Everybody's upset that I didn't donate them. MIQXQ1. Hello, buddy. Good to see you. ZGRIM3Y. Hello, good to see you. I don't know if you want to keep reading these. Notice it's all old white guys that are in a tizzy over this. And again, why not donate? Selfish a-holes. And this guy is ripping everything he bought from Nike. But he bought the products, and I'm a racist. Like, how am I racist? Because I don't like Nike, or I think that I just don't think they're good. Because like a lot of times when I buy Nikes and you buy like the running shoes or whatever, they're too squishy, and like they're not comfortable. Like the Adidas have a little more support for me. Maybe I need, like, rather than having like running shoes, I need all-terrain shoes. And that's what I've been buying, like Merrell's, are waterproof, and the Adidas that I bought are sort of like hiking, sneakers. And there's Keen. They have sort of hiking sneakers. Nikon doesn't really have a lot of shoes like that. Then basically like running, basketball, and then like style. They're into style. They're not into like practical sneakers that are gonna last you. They're gonna give you support, arch support. They're all flat-footed sneakers, and most of the sneakers are flat-footed. But if you buy like a good pair of sneakers like Keen, Columbia, they all have arches. They have a lot of support, reinforced heels. Nike don't have that. You're just buying like a foam heel, a foam sole. You could just buy that same sneaker and pay less. My adventure. Hello, John. Good day. And hello, everyone. I like New Balance for walking. Yeah, right. Yeah, New Balance, and I didn't know it was an American company, so I'm going to go check them out. But I have so many sneakers that I threw all my Nikes out, so I might have room for one more pair. But I had a pair of New Balance. I just didn't like the way they were leather. I mean, I just didn't find them, and they really wore out quick. You gave him the money as if they give. That's another thing. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you gave him the money. Why would you throw them out?" I made a lot of responses, maybe 100, and I said they were old sneakers to begin with. They didn't fit right, and they shrunk. That guy looks like an inbred, illiterate F. I'm not gonna let that. That's UF donut. What the F is wrong with the F in US? It's too much cursing. If the guy says like something that has some kind of a meaning or something like that is more than a sentence, then I'll let it go if there's like one F word in it. You racist clown. I'll let that go. I'm going to prove that. There's no profanity in it. F you cave beast. I'm telling you, man, a lot of these crack me up. F you cave beast. I never heard that. I don't know if anyone's ever heard. Has anybody ever been called a cave beast? This has nothing to do with that slave flag you worship. I don't know. Give them to homeless people, you dense F. He made himself rich, you entitled piece of crap. No, I'll let that go. F you, white piece of crap. Yeah. Somebody called me an FAG. My adventure, I got Snickers last month, used it for my Singapore trip. I could say I got a good pair of walking shoes and pay less than Merrell. I agree with you, John. What are Snickers, my adventure? Snickers. LMAO, dumb ass. You already gave them your effing money. What you do with the product after purchasing is your business. You effing clown. Like, I'm not gonna let that. That has no, that to me, like, that has no meaning. He threw away 6 pairs of shoes and SIHT that added up to 1 pair of Jordans. Black people buy. Dumbass. Then he calls me a broke ass. Pay $250 for. Why would I buy Jordans? I mean, to me, Jordans are probably the same quality as the cheap white Nikes that I threw out. Yeah, I'll let that go. That makes sense. Black people buy Jordans. F this dude in his minivan. All of his Nikes are cheap dad shoes anyway. That's true. If Nike is garbage, why the F did you buy? He can't even stand up straight in those Adidas. Is your life that effed up? Could be. I hope you wasted your money, you stupid white F. Nike already has your money. That's another one. LOL. All right, you redneck piece of shit. I'm not a redneck. I live in the East Coast. DJ Southpaw. What am I, a clown? I amuse you? Yeah, isn't that funny? Laugh out loud. Sketches. Sketches. Oh, yeah, Sketches. Yeah, Sketches. Okay. Oh, so, okay, now I bought Skechers and I didn't like them. The New Balance, I take that back. I never bought a pair of New Balance. I'm going to check them out. Thank you. Thanks for bringing up Skechers and New Balance. Now I got it. You're one stupid SOB. There's a lot. I deleted maybe 50 comments. None of y'all burning heat. Y'all shop at Ross. Shut the F up, old man. You racist idiots are funny. Why aren't you burning your Bibles? Where's the uproar over the molesters? And everybody, a lot of people have been like going after the Catholic Church. Then he says, kill yourself. I promise nobody will miss you. Of course not. Nobody's going to miss anybody. Nobody's going to miss me. Nobody's going to miss Nike if they disappear. Like, nobody is going to miss anybody. Everybody's replaceable. Nobody has a definite purpose in life. This country is stolen and the flag is racist. I don't see you burning Papa John's pizza. Man, sit down somewhere. Give the country back to the Native Americans. You damn hypocrite. I'm going to let that go. So I'm just reading from the comments. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he didn't say anything bad. It made sense. F Nike. All the low IQ idiots can't afford them anyway. All right. That's not too bad. White racist. That's dumb. For an old man, you're too ignorant. Why did you buy a pair that's uncomfortable to wear? The Nikes you're buying all crap. That's why you picked them up on sale racks. What a jackass. For your information, Trump tards are the only one who thought that kneeling is a form of disrespect because your mighty Lord Trump said, well, I'll let that go. That's good. No, that's all right, buddy. I mean, Snickers, I thought that was like like an off-brand, which there are a lot of good off-brand sneakers, If you're in front of a police officer and got beat up, why were you there? It's true. I mean, I said that. Like, if you're in front of a cop and he beat you up, you had to instigate the guy. Haha, 1970s logic. Well, that's that I understand. Maybe back then cops, they were terrible. But today cops have different types of training and they train them to be a little more adhering to different people. And today it's not only like, black and white. There's all kinds of people from all over the world that live in the United States. I'm not part of your family. We're not working together. You keep yourself on your own part of town. You don't speak for non-whites. You're a divided country. F any cop who goes on a power trip only to use the he lunged at me excuse only to have body. excuse only to have body cam footage prove otherwise. All right. I mean, the guy, he made something that made sense. He's talking about, the past police brutality, and we have to learn from our history. We learn from our mistakes. Oh, that's it. You just proved that you are a racist bastard. You are the dummy that paid your hard-earned money for them. So stupid. True. I agree. Chance Hopper. True. History repeats itself. Yes. And it's happening. I mean, people, are turning against each other, for racial, for race, So when you say, for an industry, black cops are being targeted as well. All kinds of cops. Even when they were shooting cops up during Obama, they were killing black and white cops. They didn't care who they were shooting. They were just shooting cops. So people are being racist against cops that have nothing to do with anything that you believe in. They're all guys just trying to do a job, and there's bad ones. I hate to say it, but it feels like another civil war is coming, in my opinion. I hope not. That wouldn't be good. But I'm sure a lot of people would definitely want that. They would want a civil war. So we're over 40,000 views. This is like, I'm not proud of it. I was just like trying to make people understand that, we're America. We need to at least have one thing in common, and that's the flag. I have a flag outside my house waving. I think everybody should put some kind of a flag in front of your house to show that, you support America. Even like the God Bless America song or the national anthem, those are things that we all stand together in unity. That's what brings us together as a country, whether it's racist, whether it was meant to be racist or not. I mean, at Yankee Stadium, they play God Bless America. And some people sit during that, because they don't like the fact that God is in there. They don't like that. So we have 2,237 comments, 705 likes, and 1,563 dislikes. Now, I don't know how Google's taking that, but or YouTube. You know what I mean? But, I haven't been disrespectful to anyone in the comments. Not yet. And believe me, I've gotten some pretty nasty comments, as you can see. So what I also did is when I had that, like my best live stream, it had like 1,300 views. I put that on private, because I didn't want that to compete with that video. So maybe like when this video dies out, I'll put that back to public. And if you want to, and that was 4 hours. That was a 4-hour long video. Live stream. There was a lot of people here. I had at one time almost 30 people. That was like a record for me. But the good thing about that live stream, everybody was really very, very nice. One country, but different realities. Well, DJ, it all depends on what you see, what you perceive reality. My reality is that I'm in America. I'm an American. America protects us with its military, because if we didn't have military, we'd be invaded by somebody. And I'm not going to look or listen to people tell me that I'm racist. I'm not gonna listen to them if they say that you're racist, because there are probably, other people besides white people that are racist. Is it fair for them being okay for them to be racist? And I can't be racist? That's not fair. That's racist. If you can tell me I can't say the N word, right? If black, like, not even like, it's like a thing like, oh, if you say the N word, right, you can go to jail. I'm just saying, right? Because pretty much that's what happens. Oh, don't say that. You're messed up. But on the other hand, black people, right, black Americans, throw that word around like crazy, like they're doing it intentional, like in front of us. Like, oh, there's a word you can't say, but I can. Like, here's something you can't do. Now, how fair is that? Right? Think about it. I mean, is that fair? That I'm not allowed to say a certain word, but you can say it all you want? And the meaning of the word was changed in the dictionary to suit somebody's agenda? You know what I'm saying? You follow me? That's not right. So that's the reality. There are certain people creating your reality. You have to look beyond those people. You can't follow somebody like Colin Kaepernick, who's privileged, right? He's privileged. I'm not privileged. He's a millionaire. He's made millions of dollars from people, from poor people watching him play football. That he's not that good. And now he's making maybe more money with Nike and other sponsors. So who's the privileged one? I'm not privileged. Are the police going to protect him? Does he have police protection? I'm sure he does. Why does he have bodyguards? So in reality, Colin Kaepernick is a hypocrite. He's the hypocrite. He's the racist, let's say, right? He didn't want to bring the country together. He separated us. He made some people think negative against other people that have nothing to do with police brutality, however it exists. You know what I mean? Think about it that way. And yes, there are differences in our country. People are poor, people are rich. But in reality, we're all Americans. So what we need to show America and the political machine in this country is that we are at least together for one song. You may not like rap music. You may not like country music. You may not like rock and roll. You may not like classical music, but we like that one song as one nation, right? We understand that one flag is why we are all safe and able to walk in the streets safely without being murdered, without being robbed, like in some cities, without our children constantly being harassed by others. Because the police protect us. Because if the police were pansies, like in the UK, right, there'd be a lot more crime. There'd be a lot more riots. But since when there's crime, the police take action. All right, Sandy, thanks for coming in. The police take action and everybody calls the cops, whether they like them or not. If there's a death in the family, you call the police. If somebody in your family dies, you call the police. That's the first thing you do. And you tell them what happened, you write a report, and that's it. End of story. Right? Then you call the hospital, they come take the body away. But, you call the cops. If you get robbed, you call the police. If they break into your car, you call the police. So the police are good and bad. So to blame them for like only for police brutality without looking at the positiveness of the safety that the police give us in our society, it's a good thing, you know? I mean, some neighborhoods are not as safe than others. And why is that? So that's what you need to ask yourself. Why are those areas not as safe as other areas? What is the cause behind it? Because some areas have people that want to sell drugs, that want to steal, that want to do, that want to perform criminal activity rather than trying to be productive. Nobody who goes into McDonald's and sees people working there and says they're bad people. They don't. No one goes into a store and sees somebody doing a job for a little bit of money, and says, "Oh, that guy is bad." No, they never do that. No one's afraid of them. Why would you want to be a society that people fear you? Because that's the retaliation you're going to get. You're going to get fear, even from the police. So if you're a cop and you're a kid, and now so certain people scare you as a kid, right? Rather than showing you how great you are, what a great heart you have, you're going to grow up traumatized, being afraid. And we don't want that. So Colin Kaepernick now put the fear in all these kids that cops are going to brutally beat you up because of the color of your skin, where he even looks white. He doesn't even look black. I mean, if you think about it, how black does Colin look? I can get a tan and look and have the same color as him, and then he grew the afro to make him look black. He didn't say nothing to any Americans. He just wanted to make America better. Zoo, thanks for coming in, buddy. And Lara Real, good point. Zoo, bro. Well, that's not making America better. When you put America down and all the American people, you're not making the country better. What makes the country better is to tell people the police are good. Get those bad apples out of the police force. Get new policemen. Have better training. You know what I always said? State troopers have better police training than New York City police. New York City police has the worst training, and they hire the most, all right, I'm being negative, right? But in reality, what they need to do is they need to start having police training that's hard. Not like you go to the police academy and then you go home at night and your mommy makes your bed, or you pee the bed as a cop. Because I'm sure there's a lot of policemen that pee the bed. Because there's a lot of crazy people out there that have jobs and they're nuts. It's just the way it is. So what they should do is they should say, you want to become a cop? You're going to have 4 months of intensive training in the barracks with no outside, nothing. It's going to be like the military. You go to boot camp for 2 months, 3 months, and they beat the hell out of you there. And then when you come out, you're going to have more respect for people. You have more respect for authority. And a lot of what happens with these cops is the training they get. The city doesn't want to spend the money in giving them housing and food at night and shelter, because they got to pay for heat, air conditioning. So they get a lack of training. And it's hard for like New York City and a lot of these cities to get people that even qualify to be a cop that don't have a criminal record. Good point. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, cops need more training. They need to train cops. But then again, sometimes you could train the cop as hard as you can, and that cop is still going to snap out, and be trigger happy. Just like all the shootings in Chicago, in Detroit, in all these areas, like these guys are shooting each other like crazy, stabbing each other, batting each other. I mean, the number one murder weapon in America is a baseball bat. The number 2 is a knife. And I think number 3 is a car. So, you could take all the guns away, but people are still going to find ways of killing each other. It'd probably be easier to go around stabbing people than it is shooting people. Because you could just walk up to somebody, shaft them like they do in jail, and walk away and nobody even know you did it. At least with a gun, there's going to be a bang. People are going to turn to the shooter, which is, it's crazy, but it's true in a sense, But like, what's the answer? The answer is being together, having everybody respect at least one thing, or two things: a flag and a song. Whether God Bless America, let's make another song, that we could all agree on. Like LJ, I think LJ was saying that the song is racist. Okay, the people don't like that. Let's make another song that maybe we could all agree on, or let's keep the song we had and show that we now believe that song initially represented goodness, not badness. We didn't have to, you know what I mean? Like, the guy might have owned slaves, but in reality, he had a good heart, and his intentions were good. And that's thinking, positive. Let's see my new mic. His volume is all the way up. This has echo. I don't know what echo is for. So like if I put echo, it starts to echo. You hear that? Isn't that weird? So I don't know why it does that. What's that even for? Yeah, they do. Because we have, negative feedback from people like Colin Kaepernick, Al Sharpton, and other people, that have, negativity towards a certain group of people. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Even white people, there's white people. I mean, I really don't know anybody that preach, racial segregation. I'm not responding. He didn't say nothing to any Americans. He just wants. But you know what, Zoo? When you kneel, you're telling Americans that the country is to blame because this song that represents our country, the flag, is not worthy of my respect. So that's what that kneeling is a sign of disrespect. It's a sign of like saying, I don't agree with this country. There's something wrong and you're all to blame for it. I don't know if that's what you meant about you aren't responding. But I mean, that's how I felt when I saw it. And all these other football players, like, jumping on that bandwagon, thinking that it's cool, to do that. Which is not. Like I said, we need to have one thing in common as Americans. Even if you're an illegal alien or immigrant or an illegal American, we need to have one thing in common, at least one. Yeah. I'm like, wow. Like, what did everybody do to you? Like, Bob Parker, Patrick Barker, you're really exploding, extrapolating a lot here. I don't know what that word means. Extrapolating. I'm not trying to be like negative, and I was just trying to explain to Colin Kaepernick that if he wanted to bring attention to police that are not doing their jobs properly, he should confront them. Why did you burn all of them, bro? If you care, you would have sold them and gave. Right. Yeah. I mean, I was wrong, um, to throw them in the garbage. I didn't burn them because I didn't want to pollute the air. I didn't want to cause a greater fire. Who knows? I could have burnt myself. I could have burnt other people around me. I could have gotten a fine for burning them. And I didn't think it was right for burning them. I put them in the garbage and they're gone. Actually, the garbage took them away. They're gone. So I was going to actually take them out of the garbage and put them in a what do you call it? A box, where you donate stuff. And when I got home, unless somebody took them out of the garbage, I don't know. But I don't have them anymore. So I can't. I have a pair of Nike socks. So if I find anything else Nike, I might go and do a donation thing. But I mean, like, if we care so much about like helping the veterans, helping, and a lot of people use that as a joke. Or you could have gave it to homeless veterans. Like, like it's funny that everybody's like the veterans are homeless. That's not funny. That's not a funny thing. It's a shame because a lot of those veterans have mental problems because of the war. They have guilt issues. They have, who knows what they feel, what they saw, and people get traumatized. Some people don't. But I didn't think it was funny. People were laughing after that, or give it to the homeless. They were my sneakers. The idea was to throw them away, and then I didn't have the time to go find a donation box because a lot of these donation boxes, they sell the stuff. It's like if you go to Goodwill, that's a corporation. If I give it to Goodwill, they're going to sell the sneakers. They're not going to give them to somebody in need. I could have, if I would have thought about it, but I didn't. I could have brought it to the shelter in Elizabeth. They have a food pantry there. I could have just dropped them off there, and that would have been better. Yes, I agree. That definitely would have been better. And it's my fault, and I'm sorry I didn't do it. Patrick Baker, will you be boycotting any other brands who express views contrary to your own? Yeah, I would. But it's not my view. It's reality that the flag represents all Americans. It doesn't represent the police, and that's what the video is about. You know what I mean? So that's my view. My view is that the flag and the national anthem, God Bless America, represents all the people in America. It doesn't represent the police. The police do not represent our country. So you can't blame or boycott or take a knee for the entire country because it's not everybody's fault. Blame the police. Go to the police departments and protest them. You know what I mean? Why? What do I have to do with it? What did I do to entice a police to beat somebody up? Nothing. I'm just watching a football game. You know what I mean? I don't need that kind. I don't believe that it's my fault or your fault, Patrick, or anybody's fault in the chat. It's the policeman's fault. It's the person who was attacked, partially his fault. Like I said before, I'm divorced. It's partially my fault I'm divorced. That cost me a lot of money. It's my fault. You know what I mean? It's no fault but mine. You can only blame yourself, bro. You can't blame anybody for your own faults. It's your fault. It happened to you. You let it happen. That's just the way it is. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I just don't personally feel disrespected by one man kneeling during a song. I'm trying to understand what you feel personally attacked. Well, because I feel that the national anthem represents the country as a whole, whether people don't like the song or not. It's the song we got. The flag represents our country. So when you burn it, spit on it, wipe a dog's ass with it, whatever you want to do with it, throw it in a pig pen, whatever, you're disrespecting the flag and the country that it represents. And you're disrespecting the people that have nothing to do with the problem you have with anybody to do with it. I didn't do anything. I live in America. The national anthem is our song. The U.S., the Stars and Stripes is our representation. It's the roof that covers us. When planes fly, they see the American flag. When ships sail out of New York and all ports of America, they fly the American flag. Why? Because by flying that flag tells people that they're good. They're not an enemy ship, whether it's a cargo ship or a battleship. So in order to be a non-combatant, you fly the American flag. Say you are a friend of the country. So if airplanes and ships and all these people walk around with move around with the flag, and people get a stamp in their passport with the seal of the United States, and they accept it, they're saying, I'm a friendly. I'm not going to come here and hurt anybody. That's what that means. I'm coming here for tourism, for work, whatever it is. And the United States gives you a pass, and that's your pass is the stamp. So if those people aren't disrespecting the flag, then why should citizens disrespect the flag? Because that flag represents you. It had nothing to do with what happened to you. What happened to you was your fault or the fault of the other person because you were there. You let it happen. There's no such thing as predestination. You create your own reality. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here, I created this. You're in the stream, you're here. This is our reality. I could be out holding up a bank, right? And then when I get shot, my family's going to blame the police that, they overshot him. They should have only shot him once. I mean, Laura says, I felt attacked, right? Laura, I thought about people fighting for our freedom over. Right. Thanks, John. You're a very humble man with a positive aura about you. Bless you always. Thank you, Laura. Patrick Baker, I think our common ground is that we both feel patriotic and take right. And that's my point. See, so if Colin wanted to express his feelings against, certain police doing certain bad things to certain people, then he should have did that in a press conference and says, look, I have something to say. Listen to me. Write a book, write an article. I just don't think that anyone disrespecting the flag or the anthem could infringe on our patriotism. Well, it has. I don't know if you were here when I read the comments. Let me see if I got anything new. Here. Okay. Here's one guy who says, F the national anthem. F you, white old man. There's people in the world who don't have money and can't afford it. So he's more mad at me for not donating the sneakers. But he called me white. So I don't know, where he's getting at. So he's he's separated himself from his status as an American, that we're both American, and says, I'm different than he is. Rather than saying, no, we're both Americans. Or he could have just said, dude, you're POS. Racist grow. If it's all about the vets, you should have donated the clothes to homeless vets. Nike doesn't give a F about you or 10 articles. Yeah. Baldy. You're a skinhead. Just like American selfish Fs, rather trash clothes than donate to the needy. and his reasons for boycotting Nike are lame as F racist. So that's my point. So when you get somebody like Colin, who's on national TV, people all over the world are watching him, and he disrespects the flag and the national anthem as a representative of the NFL, of an American pastime, right? That's wrong. I mean, he's making everybody else think, oh, it's all right to disrespect the flag. I believe he was doing his part as a U.S. citizen by using his platform to shed light on police brutality and other issues with that military. But I mean, police brutality is one thing or the other. Like I said, police brutality is on an individual basis. Not all cops do it. There are cops that have 25 years being a policeman and they've never beat anybody up. They had a different mentality. Maybe they were able to, soothe the situation and everybody just, went into custody peacefully. Maybe there's so many reasons why a police shot someone or badly beat them up. And a lot of times when you see them, these guys are all resistant arrest. Like they're fighting the cops. And then like their relatives jumping on. I seen it where there was a video of a white guy and his whole family, and the mother was like screaming, going crazy, and they're trying to arrest the mother. Then the son's jumping on the cops. They're all cops are beating these white people up, and there are black cops too. So it happens to everybody. It's not just blacks. It happens to everyone. What about that lady that she got pulled over by the cop and she was an assemblyman? She started screaming at the cop, crying, but she didn't get physical with him. So the cop stood by and just let her scream and yell, and he gave her a ticket anyway. But once you get physical, you put your hands up, you push, you touch. That's it. I mean, it's like you watch these guys in the street, go up to somebody in the street and I touch them with a girlfriend or whatever. Bro, it's war. That's just the way it goes. So if you know that in the street, right, it's war because you touched me or you like spilled soda on me or whatever, a French fry fell on my brand new sneakers. It's war, man. You're going to go to war. So even though the cops are trained, they're still people. They're still going to snap like anybody else. So to use an excuse like it's police brutality, it's all their fault, that's not fair. Granted, 25 where it's, mostly the police's fault, but it's usually a 50-50 thing. And a cop won't lay a hand on you unless you are resisting arrest. Piece of that POS, complete POS. And like you did something to somebody that would make you beat the hell out of them. I believe it was, yeah. And being a US citizen, right, is your first duty as a citizen is to respect your duty as a citizen is to respect your country, respect the flag, because the country itself and the flag did nothing to you. I agree. There are cases where use of deadly force seems less egregious, but when we can't ignore cases like, okay, I mean, what about that one kid in New York where the girlfriend said that this woman and these three guys grabbed an innocent kid and killed him? You know what I mean? Where's the outrage of that? And those are street dogs. So imagine what they would do in front of a cop. So if those boys were black, right, and they did that to a cop, and then another cop came over and shot them all, what do you expect? That's what's going to happen. If you're going to fight and you're going to be an aggressive person in society, you have to expect aggression back, and you're going to get it. Unfortunately, black people in America um, commit crimes, hideous crimes against each other, against it's just terrible. And it's sad. I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that on the news. It's just sad that this happens, because I know they have mothers and fathers and grandmothers that cry, that are upset, and they're good people. Like I said, like I have black Americans that live across the street from me and next door to me. I have no problem with them. The cops don't come knocking at their door. The police drive by and that's it, because they're on patrol. But if the guy, let's say a cop did go to knock on the guy's door or my door, and I start acting, what do you want? Get the hell out of here! What are you doing here? You don't belong here. Get off my property. Bah, 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 bah. My teeth knocked out. You know what I mean? Cops are trained to beat the hell out of you. That's true. If you do something to a cop, that's when he will arrest you. And I agree, the flag means something to the United States. Right. It's citizenship. It's camaraderie. It's like people wear the same football jersey. Wear together. This is our colors, right? You go to baseball games, you got the Dodger fans and the Yankee fans. The Dodger fans are wearing red, the Yankees are wearing blue. Hello? So our flag is red, white, and blue, and that's our colors. So why would we disrespect that? I don't disagree with you, Patrick. Police brutality, like I said, some cops, they just don't, they're not in the right, they're wrong. They're 100% wrong. They shouldn't do that. They need more training, better training, better stimulus training for cops. But then again, like I said, a lot of cops, they, who knows why they do that, but then the people that they're doing it to shouldn't be in that situation. They should avoid it. Avoid the police. That's what I do. One day a girl told me, drive faster. I says, no, it's 30 mile per hour speed limit. I ain't fucking going 40 miles an hour for you. So I can get a ticket? No way. I'm not doing that. But I could have, and you see people get pulled over in a 50 doing 70. You're going to get a ticket. Not because you're black, because you're speeding, And it is true that some cops, when you have a really nice car, are intimidated by pulling you over. I mean, it's just human natural instinct. People are intimidated by wealth. Their cops probably afraid. Oh, this guy might know somebody. I might get in trouble. Like that. It's a shame. I mean, society, it is what it is. But we're not going to make it better by disrespecting, the police or disrespecting each other. And what we need to have is a common goal. At least have one thing that we all have in common, that we all agree to do together. And at least let's stand for the national anthem. Let's stand for the flag. That's one thing we have. And then maybe we can get another thing in common. Best friends. They carried each other. They took each other's backs. There was no racism there. Those guys were all in on it. They knew, I need you, you need me. The flag is our home. This is our base. We got to take care of it. And it's the same thing like our country. This is our battle base. We have to take care of our country and respect it. A UK cop will only use his gun in extreme case that they have to use it, as they use a baton more, but only when they really have to use. So in the UK, I noticed that there's a lot of cops wearing yellow jackets. So do all those cops have guns, or they're unarmed and they just have the club? Because I always wondered, like, because I think I heard somewhere that in the UK the detectives all carry guns, but not sure if the foot patrols all carry guns. So Patrick, I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's just like how I feel. I think we should have at least one common something in common. Let's all wear Nikes together. You know what I mean? Let's all drive the same car. DJ Southpaw. My dad was a cop. He told me if I ever get pulled over, to roll down my window down, keep my hands on the steering wheel. And yeah, that's what I do. You know, I keep my seatbelt on. I roll the window down. I shut the car off. Sometimes I even turn the lights on in the car. You know, because I'm telling the cop, I'm saying, dude, you know, don't worry about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm gonna I'm gonna follow protocol, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna fight you. Like I remember one time I got pulled over. Right, I'm no threat, exactly. I got pulled over and I was smoking a cigarette. I don't. So I was smoking, and I opened the window, and the cop was like hot out. He came. It was like red, sweating. He must have been pissed off, right, at something. So he pulls me over. So I had my cigarette. I opened the window on the other side, and I flicked my cigarette out the window into grass. He flipped out. He was like, "Come on!" Like he wanted to like say something so I could drag you out of the car. I said, "Oh, dude, relax." You know what I mean? He was like, "You got a problem with that?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "No, man, it's no problem. No, not at all." You know, I would have lost. There's no way I can win, and I would have had witnesses that probably would all win against me. So you can't win. So it was better I just kept my mouth shut. He gave me a $350 fine, but it was my fault. I just flicked the cigarette out the window. That was stupid, right? Isn't that stupid to flick a cigarette, to throw anything out the window? So I got I got a ticket for it. And plus he gave me two tickets, one for the cigarette and one for the other thing. And then he calmed down after I just sat there quiet. Hey man, I'm listening here. I appreciate the civil discussion, even if we do disagree on this. Right, that's cool, brother. That's what it's all about. Unarmed, they are special branch and only given a gun in extreme cases, as they never actually. Oh, so like if they know there's a riot or something like that, then they call these guys out, like the special police, and then you have regular UK cops, I guess, that patrol like in the city. I got it. They're Alka Dent Gamer, Cadent Gamer. What is MOIK? I don't know what that means. But if you guys haven't subscribed, hey, hit that red button. Hit that subscribe button. Can I get some police on me, Mr. John? Because I'm homeless. Yeah, I mean that's sad too, you know? Like the cities, they don't want homeless people in the street. One, some of them are mentally unstable and they can hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. And it looks bad for the city. And there are shelters in the city for all these people. They just don't want to be there. And homeless people are all different races. So the cops will pick anybody off the street. Doesn't matter what race they are. And if the homeless guy's going to fight back, they're going to put them in handcuffs and a straitjacket and have them arrested. But welcome to the stream. And there's my new mic. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Thanks for the warm welcome. No problem. Anytime. But the way this mic works is, see, it's got a clip and it just comes right off. I don't want to make it too loud because you probably heard that. It's pretty cool. All metal. I was in the military, but I was never. If you got to be extreme measures, John, before you see a UK cop carrying a firearm with him, as usually handcuffs and a telescopic baton and a bulletproof vest under their uniforms, just I mean that's good that the because I know in the UK nobody really has pistols and guns, and I'm sure there are guns out there, so they have a different way of policing. Here in America, it's different. I think like Canada and the US are one of the biggest countries for guns, where the public can carry in the streets and can buy as many guns as they want. Where other countries you can't even like. There's just no way you're not getting a gun. I mean, and that's good and bad in a way, but that's a whole different story. Well, at least Kaepernick didn't complain about the Second Amendment. You know what? I wonder if there were less shootings when cops carried revolvers than now that they carry these, Glocks, whatever they carry, that are, 15 round shots. Because the problem is that the criminals have have more firepower than the police. Oh yeah, even in the US. I seen it firsthand. When I lived in Brooklyn, I saw a guy chase his girlfriend in the turnstile. Like she went in the turnstile, he ran up, grabbed it, and started stabbing her through the turnstile with a big, house knife. And she just fell to the ground. And she was with her friend, and they were screaming and yelling, and he just walked out. And I was like, wow. In the UK, they're pulling guns out. Yeah, they do that here. I mean, we have to also think, there's, like I said before, Patrick, in New York City, there's 8 million people. So each cop polices 200,000 people. Think about that. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. So they put one guy, like, let's just, for instance, in my town, they got one cop policing this whole town. There's like 60,000 people. Just one, by himself. So that's how it is in New York. They got one cop for 200,000 people. Oh, I don't remember. I didn't buy them. I bought them like in the Nike, what do you call it? When they have those outlet stores. I never buy anything like full price. I always try to go to like the sale price racks and stuff like that. It's not worth it. You know? Oh yeah, there's a lot of shootings here, yeah. Well, because there's a lot of there's a lot. I mean, I'm for the Second Amendment, so but you have to look at like where the shootings are and who's doing the shooting. There are more illegal guns, there are legal guns. And usually people who have legal guns, they're not going to go out and shooting people. I'm sure it happens, but the majority of the gun murders are caused by criminals. So if you have a legal gun and you go out and you shoot people mercilessly, you're a criminal. You got that gun illegally because you lied on the application. You were going to get it for hunting, for sportsmanship, right? You did that illegally. You lied on your application because you went out and you actually killed somebody. So these people who buy guns legally and kill other people, right? Like those people in Florida that shot up the people at the Christmas party, right? They bought those guns legally, but they lied. They had intentions of buying those guns to illegally kill people. They didn't buy them for sport, for collection, like they promised they would. How do I feel about Russian babies? I don't know. How should I? I love babies. It's more knife attacks and someone running around over as when. Yeah, like I said, it's easier to stab people than it is to shoot them. Because once you get your first stabbing, it gets easier. A gun. I think it's harder to use a gun than it is to use because you're going to draw more attention to yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a crowded area and you stab somebody, you could like duck out and no one will even know it was you, or run. Nobody will even know it was you. I mean, the 9/11 planes were hijacked with knives and box cutters. Where were the guns? That's a whole nother thing. I don't believe any of that. I gotta turn my fish tank on. Can you hear that noise? The background fish tank noise? If someone wants to kill you, they'll do it with anything they can get. Not exactly. I think it's harder to kill somebody with a gun than it is with a knife or a bat or poison or anything. Bash them over the head with something. Crack their skull. Gun you could miss, right? You got to pull the trigger. You got to aim. Guns are hard to shoot. They're not easy to handle. Not everybody can shoot a gun. That's why you see guys like they hold a gun like this. You can't shoot like that. That's all bullshit. You got to shoot like straight. You need support. So pistols are for short range anyway. They're not long range weapons. That's why a lot of guys use rifles. But if like a rifle, if you don't have any resistance, it's going to be a good weapon. But if you have resistance, a rifle's no good because if you're in close quarters and you're inside, unless you have like a machine gun, it's going to be hard for you to use that rifle. Where a pistol's going to come in better, like in a room in an enclosed area. DJ Southport, not to say knife attacks are better, but here in Chicago, so many innocent kids get killed as these guys. Right. I mean, you lay down suppressive fire from pistols or whatever. Yeah, you're going to kill people. But like if you're by yourself and you take aim at somebody and you don't shoot right, you're probably going to miss. That's why like cops lay out 13, remember that 13 shots, 30, whatever, because they missed. They know they have to shoot. Boom, 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 boom. Or else they're going to miss the guy. They're not going to hit him. So they lay suppressive fire to take the guy down. Unless the guy's a really good shot, like Clint Eastwood, and he could put the bullet between the guy's head with a pistol. But technically, generally, like I tell my friends, listen, you can have all the guns you want. When it's time for you to shoot, it's a totally different ball game when you shoot at targets. If you get somebody in your house, and you're not smart enough or not how to tactically approach the guy or whatever, you might get shot yourself. But you've seen on YouTube where that Asian lady chases those guys out of the house, shooting back. I mean, and she actually shot the guy, but she was like 5 feet from the guy. She didn't shoot him 20 feet, 25 feet away, 50 feet away, DJ Kodef, how do you feel about Nigerian women? How do I feel about Nigerian women? Some of them are very beautiful. I've seen them. And welcome to the stream, Matthew. Labane, Steffi, hello. How are you? Thank you for the thumbs up. Everybody, leave a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. Thank you. Nah, it's cool. He's only, I had another person come in, and he started with it's a joke. He's just kidding. How you doing? Good to see you. You're okay, bro. Let's see. Where is it, Matthew? Shut the cheeks. So he's talking out his R's. That's funny. Good on her. Good on her. She was quite right if they were in her house. Yeah. All American Grandpa, what's up? Good having you, buddy. Always a pleasure to see you. James Nace got a rack. I said it. Fixing to hit the road for vacation. Oh, great. Have fun in vacation. Where you going? Hey. Hey, Steffi. James. So Matthew says, so do you have one, James? But like I was saying, with guns, it's harder for people to get the gun, to buy the bullets, to take it out, where just the knife, boom, boom. The knife is the oldest weapon, or the baddest, right? A rock. You can kill somebody with a rock. Look at David killed Goliath. David killed Goliath with a stone. Hey, Steph, I did that video finally. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I kill people from the trenches. Yeah. You did lay. Gonna go watch. I'm stoked. Oh, definitely gonna watch the video. Thanks, but my name's Caden, stupid club. Club. All right, let's keep the name calling down. Let's be friendly. Can you give a shout out to Hazy Days? Say happy birthday, John, to him. Happy birthday, Hazy Days. I gotta go see him. I'd much rather stab someone because bullets are exactly. So like a guy to go buy a gun, that is intention wants to kill someone, they're not going to do that. That's going to be hard for them. I mean, they could, but it's going to be expensive. I mean, a gun on the street probably costs $400, $500 to $1,000. Then you got to buy the bullets. Then you got to make sure the guy you buy from doesn't come back after you to steal it back from you or tells the police on you. There's a lot of factors in there. You know what I mean? If you're just a regular schmo and you go buy a gun from a guy in the street, you're a target for him. What's to say he's not going to rob you? Or when you drive away, somebody's going to pull up and rob you and shoot you, And you're going to be like, oh, I didn't know how to use the gun. So Nike lost $3.5 million in one day. Wow, that's a lot of money. Jerry, I'll Jerry on you. Thanks, Steph. Can you say James Nace? I'd much rather fight with my hands. Haha. Not with those pretty hands. Retarded is a bad word. It is. Retarded is a very bad word. Have a safe trip, Steffi. Thank you. When are you leaving? Today? Oh, Steph? Right. I mean, I don't know who James is. I'm trying to find who James is. Oh, James. DJ Southpaw says, hey, ability of Mammoth too. And a white van gang. Okay. Caden the Gamer is James. Oh, Caden the Gamer. Okay. So, like, the stream is about disrespecting the flag and the national anthem, and if Colin was correct in kneeling, what did that mean to everybody in the country? Is it correct for Nike to like follow suit with Colin? You know, do they believe that everybody in the country is responsible for police brutality when it happens? Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, retard's not a bad name. I mean, you know, sometimes people come in, they argue a little bit, and then they get over it. Catholic Church has been covering up child and sex scandals, but you don't express them. That's not bad words, but Mr. Greenwood, I mean, that's not what the stream is about. I mean, why are we gonna blame somebody else's problems or whatever they're causing and use that to justify somebody else? It's not about, you can't look at other people and blame them. You have to look at yourself. You have to take responsibility for your own actions. And that's what Colin should do, is look at the police and say, you people need to take responsibility for your actions because the police do not represent America. Americans represent America. The Catholic Church doesn't represent America. The people in America represent America. Mike have a platform of freedom of speech and they burn his stuff. Nike. Well, you know, we as consumers, right, have a right to throw away, discard what we don't like. You know, so if Nike wants to throw away the fact that I'm an American citizen and I'm not guilty for any police doing any harm to anybody, then they're wrong. You know, they don't deserve my support. You know, that's how I feel. You already picked, but it's still my stuff. This I throw away food. I throw away a lot of stuff. I paid for it. You know what I mean? People junk cars. To me, you know, the sneakers weren't that great. You know, like this shirt, it's made out of polyester. It's plastic. You know what I mean? It's not like quality cotton, quality material. It's a nice looking shirt. I like it, but you know, I like it. You know, the shirts were good. I would, but I just want to get rid of all the Nike stuff because they made a stand to say that America, the entire country's to blame for police brutality. Well, then I don't agree with that. So as a consumer, I could say, I'm not buying your Nike stuff, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to be an American anymore because of Nike. I'm telling Nike how I feel about Nike. So Coleman should have said what he felt about the police, not attack or take a knee when other people are standing. What does that mean? Like you kneel, I stand. So I'm doing something wrong in your eyes, Colin, because I'm standing and you want to kneel? Joyce Gillipay vlog. Hello, great seeing you. Jerry's Woodworking Shop Outdoors, left out loud. I'm with you, John. Thank you. Thanks, Jerry. You're not hurting Nike anyway. It doesn't. I'm not looking to hurt Nike. I'm just making a statement. I'm not. I don't like Nike. I don't think Nike's that great of a product, and I threw it out. I paid for it. I had those white sneakers for years, and my friend actually, I think I have another pair in the basement that he gave me. You know, we have the same size foot, and he didn't want them. So he goes, "Oh, John, you want these?" So I figured, yeah, I'll take them. Maybe I'll use them for painting or whatever. You know. So a lot of people throw stuff away they don't like. Alana, welcome back. I love Nike. Hey, Alana. He didn't say you must join. Yeah, but I know he didn't say you must join, but he did the opposite of what the whole place wanted to do. So let's say, for instance, everybody was standing, and he decided not to sit. So we're unified under that song. That song means we're all Americans. We're patriots. We're united Americans, right? Now you're going to say, I'm going to break that unity because I don't like something, and I want you to listen to me, and I'm going to get people on board like other football players started doing it, and Nike now took a stand against the national anthem and the flag, breaking that unity. So they only want to sell shoes to people who agree with Colin Kaepernick. Does that make any sense? I think losing $3 million that hurt them a lot. I try to watch everyone's back, and when he modded me, he had hardly any mods in his life. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. Right. We all have a right. I have a right to throw it out. But I mean, I just don't like it. So if I have something in my fridge or food or whatever it is, I'm going to get rid of it. I mean, this is how it goes. Like Colin doesn't like the national anthem because it represents police brutality. Then he took a knee. He threw out the national anthem. He's disagreeing with it. He doesn't like it. Maybe he was covering his ears up because he couldn't even stand hearing the music. Yeah, for a lot of people, because people understand that, we live in a country and this is our home. And that's including all the Commonwealths like Puerto Rico and Samoa and the Mariana Islands, the islands of the Caribbean, the U.S. Caribbean Virgin Islands. They were all part of this country too. They're not to blame for police brutality. They have nothing to do with it. They're all American citizens. You go to Samoa, they got American birth certificates that says they were born in Samoa. Like in our states where we were born in our state. So are they to blame for it? Should they learn to disrespect the flag too? You know what I mean? No. Like when I was in the service, we had Samoans that were training with us. They were all great guys. They never said, "Oh, I hate America." They were volunteer. They joined. It's because he took a stand. America is about standing for something. Life is about that. Exactly. But take a stand against the police, not against the whole country. The whole country makes up more. What about the firemen in the country? You're kneeling for the country just for the police? Then just say, listen, I'm standing, but I disagree with the police. Write a book. Like I said, write an article. He's got money. He can probably pay to get his articles printed. In the New York Times, anybody will print his articles for free. Do a news release on the internet, like that. Everybody will see it. You put your name out there, Colin Kaepernick. People know who he is. He would have made the headlines right there. It says, "I disagree with the police and their behavior," but focus your attention on them, because in your eyes, in your mind, they're causing you a problem, not the whole country. So when you kneel, you're saying this whole country's effed up. America's stolen that. Perhaps it is. I mean, perhaps it is. I mean, over time, there's a lot of land that was purchased from people. They have written documents. I mean, perhaps it is. But now we are here. The land's not going back to the natives. It's not going to happen. And then the natives came here anyway from China. They walked over. Supposedly they walked over to Bering Strait, to Alaska. So they got here one way or the other. The Vikings were here first. He exercises right as an American. You simply disagree with his stance. Yeah, but I'm saying, I agree with his stance. I agree that he should have a grievance with the police. Okay? Go to the police and debate them, having a disagreement with them. And I'm sure they'll be more than happy to listen to him. A lot of the police chiefs, a lot of police would be more than happy to hang out with him and talk to him. There was no reason for him to say, America sucks, because that's what he did. He said, all of America, this national anthem, this flag doesn't deserve my respect for me to stand. That's what he said. He didn't say, he didn't come out in the beginning when he was doing it and saying why he was doing it. That came out later. Like after 2-3 games, then the media made this whole thing up. Why he was doing it. That's why in the video it says, why were you doing it? Why didn't you say it before you started kneeling? Why didn't he make a statement? Usually people, when they have a grievance with somebody, they make a statement. They don't allow somebody else to make a statement for them, because that's what happened. He didn't come out. He wasn't in the locker room during a game that he was being interviewed and says, oh, you know what? I have something else. I have a problem with the police beating up on people that are high, that committed a crime, and that they're unstable. I have a problem with that. He didn't tell the press that. He never said a word. The media made all that up for him. That's why he's working for them now. He's got big contracts. He actually refused to play football. There was a team that wanted to hire him, and he refused. Those who came last should leave first. Well, that's like another thing of saying that, America is built on yada, yada, yada. America is America. It's not going to change. Would you rather see America being taken over by worse people, by tyrants, by people with a stronger police force like the Nazis or the KGB? I don't know if they're, I'm just saying, I'm just making stuff up. But would you rather that? Would you rather have a world like the book George Orwell, 1984, where we live in a complete police state? Would you rather the country be split up into smaller countries and be perhaps like Venezuela, one country being socialist, one country being this, one country being communist? We're free. There are countries where you can't even open a business, man. In this country, we can be businessmen on YouTube. YouTube is an American company, Google. Where are you going to get that? Because of America, the freedom we have here. In England, you can't. You know how hard it is to go to Europe and open a business? It's so hard. You can't just open a business there. Hold on. There's somebody knocking at my door. Oh, hello. Yeah.
Yeah, I need some last night.
You need it?
Yeah. I know your sister called in today. She's close to her, so we're pharmacy, and what we do is we pre-package medication.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So she doesn't have to use her pill organizer anymore.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I understand her.
All right,
I
cool.
speak some Italian.
Oh, awesome.
It's like
I'm
terrible. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah, it's like terrible, but
It's fine.
we get to communicate.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'll be downstairs if you have any questions.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. I'm back. Because we have freedom of soar, H, and the right to. Right. I respect Colin, you know what I mean? As an athlete, he did his best, and he left the sport like all the other athletes. But, if you have a problem, like if somebody has a problem, let's say with me, what are you going to go to? You're going to go to my neighbor and say, I have a problem with him, and you're going to say, oh, I don't like your house? No, you're going to go to me. So Colin should have went and directed his attention just solely towards the police, not towards this whole country. The whole country cannot be responsible for people's actions, and we're not. We're just not. We are not responsible for anybody. We're all Americans. We're all here trying to keep America what it is and to keep it from, and we're all just living here. I mean, I don't know how to put it, but we're just trying to live. So we don't need negativity. We don't need people telling us that America isn't great. It's America's fault that, police beat up people. What about the cops, like I said 100 times, that don't beat people up? Was your husband or wife of 2 months burned to death? Laugh out loud. I'm just saying he mentioned stolen land as part of Indian. Yeah, I mean, he might have Indian background. I mean, like the whole land thing, it's a sore for for the Native Americans. You know what I mean? Okay, that's cool, McGee one. I mean, that's fine. We all respect you here, even though like you disagree with me or anybody, but still, me and you, we're American, and we have one common goal, and that's to keep our country, a good place to live. And we have at least one thing in common, and that's the flag. That's an easy thing to have in common. So imagine everybody put a flag out on their lawn. Like during the holidays, 4th of July, nobody even puts a flag out. I got my flag out 24/7. And I need a new one because it's getting ripped up. But still, that's the thing we have in common. And we shouldn't lose that, because when we lose that, what are we going to have? Nothing. Everyone wants to point the finger at someone else. Right. Guilty of letting this country take advantage. Maybe if I kill someone, I can get medical care. Yeah. Yeah, in jail. But that's part of the problem with everything. Is that people need to realize that we are Americans, and we need some sort of something that unites us, not air. Because we all need air, right? We all need water, right? So this country provides clean air and clean water for everyone. There's proper drainage. We have great roads. We have fantastic stores. We have everything here, and because of America. I'm not American, but Donald Trump has certain fingers in certain pies in the UK. Yeah, I mean that's the way politics are. I mean, the UK, they have interest here, the US has interest there, and everybody wants a part of everybody's little piece of cake. Okay, well, how can you speak on stolen land if it's about like blacks talking about slavery, things that happened years ago? Just saying. And no, I'm not a racist. I have black family. I have Indian. Right. I mean, you can't continue to blame people for something, because then we're never going to be together as Americans. That's what we need. So by kneeling to the national anthem at a stadium, at an event, right, to me is wrong. Kaepernick should be a positive figure, not bring negativity. Even look at the picture Nike selected for him. That's a terrible picture. Black and white, with bulgy eyeballs, looking sad. I mean, look at the picture. Look at it on your phone. It's terrible. He's not even happy, right? I mean, if I was coming, I don't want that picture. I want a nice picture. He looks like yeah, man. Like, what kind of an attitude is that? What kind of an image is that Nike wants to give people? Give people a nice image, a happy image. Right. I mean, if you pay for Nikes, keep them. I'm not telling you to throw them. I just don't like them. And I didn't wear them. I have like a shelf with all my shoes. So I keep them there. And then, the thing happened. I got mad. This is good. Now I have a reason to throw them out. And I threw my Nike shirts out. I think I have another one somewhere. When I find that and a couple of socks, I'm going to do like a donation video. Ugh, not good. The Nemes Josiah. TSEG. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Right, you can buy Nikes, and that's your choice. I just don't agree with Nike agreeing with stating that America is to blame for the police because we're not. America is not to blame for the police. Like when Nike makes a bad sneaker, who do we blame? Nike. When our sneakers are defective, right? Who do we blame? Nike. Okay? So if the police are doing something wrong, who should we blame? The police. Hello. Why would you blame the entire country, all its Commonwealth, the Mariana Islands, the Hawaii? Well, Hawaii is a part of the states. Puerto Rico, the Caribbean island. Why would you blame all those people? What do those people have to do with police brutality in the United States? They are part of the country. They fly the American. They fly the American flag, right? They don't fly a Samoan flag. They fly an American flag because they are protected under the American flag. So are we, because it's our home. So, like, if a Samoan wants to come here, they can come here freely. The Puerto Rican wants to come here, they can come here freely. They don't need a passport. They don't need anything because they're American citizens. So what do Puerto Ricans or people in the U.S. Virgin Islands and all those countries have to do with police brutality in the United States when they believe in an American flag? They're not against it. They're not uprising against the country. Sabes, Kaepernick gets paid millions and still can't stand. True. That's what I said. Are you injured? Yeah, Alana, until he does wrong in the American citizens' eyes, like Alabama done with his health care, I don't usually get right. Nike. Yeah. Who are you defending, Nike or Mike? Kaepernick gets right. Exactly. A blonde woman. It's true. I mean, that's see, like, the other thing too is, like, that's bad. They call Black Americans African Americans. That is the worst thing you can call those people. Why would you call Black Americans African? What you're doing is you're telling them you're from a continent. That's your home. That whole continent. You don't even have a country. Like, where you from? I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Sudan. I'm from wherever, African, South Africa. You know what I mean? How are you an African? Because that means you have no heritage. You have no background. No, your background is you're an American. Okay? Even though there's no record of, let's say, if you go back and back, but still, now you're an American. Your birth certificate says the United States of America and the state you were born in. Half Tino African. Okay, so then they should say you're Tino American, not African American, because what they want to do is, think about it, they want to combine them into one group for voting power. See? It's good for that, but when Colin wants to make a stand, he wants to separate people on the issue. See? So now, if they said to Black people, well, you're Nigerian, you're not Black, you're Nigerian, you can have a different mindset. See, when South Americans come here, they don't call them South Americans, they call them Mexicans, Guatemalans, Peruvians, Costa Ricans. They know where they're from. They tell them where they're from. They don't generalize them as South Americans. They try to generalize them with the term Latino, right? Because of that voting base. See, it's so. But if these people would, now that are here, would say, no, I'm not Latino. I'm an American. Don't call me Latino. I'm an American citizen. My birth certificate says American. I'm not Guatemalan. I'm not African.
If you want to get tactical, we're getting accurate. If we gotta call names, call me French Canadian, Acadian Indian. Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. I'm not an Italian American. I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? That's the way. That's the route. The route we should be on, because then politicians will see we're not stupid. You follow me? That's why when we voted for Trump, they got the awakening of a lifetime. That's why they're still crying about it. Because they says, holy smokes, we couldn't pull the wool over the head in that one. You know, like they did with George Bush in that election. You know, but that was a tight race. I mean, Gore lost by 3 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton lost by over 150. That's a big difference. We're all American. Divide and conquer is the rule of thumb for the elite. You control the grid. And exactly, bro. That's why when Colin took a knee, he was dividing the country by saying that we're all responsible for one group of people, which we're not. They are. That's what I said in the video. If you're in front of a cop, why are you there? You shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be running from the police. If you get shot, it's your fault. You know, why were you shot? I mean, one day I get shot from a cop, it's probably going to be my fault. Exactly, LeBain. You're American as you were born in America. I was born in Glasgow, but I'm Scottish, not British. Right. LeBain, on my dad's mom's side, we have family that live in Ontario. Awesome. So those family members are Canadian. You know, we have to say, we have to bring our country together. So Colin is dividing it by saying that we're all to blame. Like, we all need guilt. What do I need this guilt? I got enough problems. I got to feel guilty about a certain group of people? No. And that's what they're trying to tell you. Now, there's a whole other story about Colin and his ex-girlfriend and who she was working for during the Hillary Clinton campaign and who the Hillary Clinton's campaign manager was. Now, if you connect the pieces, Colin Kaepernick is connected to a certain lady from a certain group of people in this country, right? That's connected to Huma, who was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, who has ties to a certain group of people. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you really want to get technical, you can look down the road and say, maybe they told him to do it. Maybe he's doing it for a different cause, but the media turned the tables on the Americans. You understand? To make us all like we're not together. We're not Americans. We hate each other. There's racism. America's no good. Let's start riots. Let's start breaking shit while they advance up to our stupidity, to our believing their bullshit. So instead of like the one football player kicking Colin in the head or pushing him, says, get on your feet. Stand up. If you don't want to stand up, get out of here, right? It would have went to an end. But maybe they were all in on it. I don't know. Because after that, everybody started going with him. Why? Why would you like say, oh, it's for police? It's because of the police. No, maybe it's a bigger picture. Exactly, Mr. Green. Control of the chaos. And even like the fact that they want people to believe, oh, the Americans. Old Scratch Johnson, what's up, buddy? The Redneck Connection, hello. You know, they want you, right, to believe that this country is bad, right? Because we stole land from the Indians, all right? Okay, that was when, but still, it's a sad time of history, but we can't live our lives thinking that somebody did something bad for me and I'm gonna get revenge on them for the rest of my life, because you know you're not gonna be healthy. You're gonna have an unhealthy mind. You're gonna get ulcers. You're gonna be sick. So the best thing to do is to say, you know what, you know, The Indians and the Americans, when they came here, look at the real history, and it was a buildup. I mean, when did the Americans started going to the West? Is after, the War of 1812. When they started to expand. And then you could also say to yourself, were Indians fighting each other? I mean, if, were they doing the bad things to each other? They were attacking, what do you call it? People going, west, and they were going over their tribal lands, but they didn't know that. It's just ridiculous now to say that America is guilty of stealing land, because this country's like gigantic. The Americans that made it the America that it is. I mean, how would have the Indians managed the land with the new age that was coming in? I mean, think about that. I mean, were the Indians able to, would they have been able to maintain their land without guns from Americans, from white people? Let's just say, the white man, let's just put it that way. The cooking pots, the horses that we bought here. I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked. I mean, who would have conquered the American Plains Indians, or who would have gotten the land if the Americans didn't get it, if we didn't win the War of 1812? Would the French got along better with the Indians? I mean, I don't know. Would the Indians have gotten along better with the French? Eventually, the French would have wanted to move west. How would have the French acted with them? Were the French fighting with the Indians? Maybe not, but that's where we are now. We're in America, and we need to maintain our country, or else we're going to lose it. Lots of the Southwest was really Mexico. Well, it was actually Spain, belonged to Spain. And Spain seceded to Old Ironside, Andrew Jackson. We even took Florida from Spain. That was Spain. And Andrew Jackson went there and he fought them for Florida, and he beat them, and they left. They didn't want to fight. So, Spain could have kept Mexico, all of that stuff. Mexico was stupid to lose that war. I mean, how stupid are they? America didn't even have a military, if you think about it. I mean, they lost the war against a bunch of ragtag people on a base. I mean, that's dumb. So how is Mexico would have became who they are without the United States? Mexico wouldn't even be Mexico. We help them. America helps Mexico. America helps all of South America, even Canada. So you say, America was part of Mexico or part of Spain. Yeah, but they lost it. And it could happen to us. I mean, do you want that to happen? Do you want America to stop being America? America overall as a whole and in general, no, it wasn't a bad idea, but the country was way, yeah. Left lots, right. I mean, it's all the Americas as a whole belong to, right. But don't forget, like the Incas, the Mayans, they all had civilizations that died. They didn't know how to manage the land. A lot of them starved. They didn't have water. Then they had, if you go to Cancun, they have the Mayan ruins, right? I mean, those people were like ripping hearts out, killing people. They were doing cannibalism. I mean, where would South America be today if it wasn't for the Spanish to go there, and stop them from killing each other? Because they were kidnapping people and just like sacrificing them, anybody. I mean, it was good, it was bad. I mean, can we go back to tribalism? Is that possible? It could be. I mean, if there's ever a real nuclear war and that's it, like the postman, There you're gonna be. You're gonna be in a tribalistic life reality with dirty water, poor food, no shelter. Right, wars are still going on, right? Because people want out what we have now. You know what I mean? So, like, we wanted what somebody else wanted, and now somebody wants what we want. People are jealous. They're jealous that we're here in this land that it's inaccessible to other countries. Like Germany would have invaded us if America was in Europe. Without a doubt, they couldn't get here. That's why the British lost the War of 1812, because they couldn't get here. We were here, and they were stupid, the British, because they lost the War of 1812. They had the smartest admirals in the world and lost to the American fleet, and ultimately losing the war. They won the Battle of Waterloo because they had modern rifles but they didn't use it against the Americans, against when they fought Andrew Jackson. So there's a lot of reasons. You can't look at that. You got to say, okay, we're here, we're Americans, let's be Americans. That's it. Forget about what the haters say. It's because the elite wage war, buy them and burn them. That'll teach them. Hey, dumbass, Mac already has your money. Well, we already heard that, Gary, 100 times, but I'm glad you're here. I mean, I have other shoes I plan on buying, but maybe we could show his comment. Gary Garrett, welcome to the stream. I mean, yeah, wars are wars. I mean, we're always going to have wars. But at least, if we're together as a people, we may not have domestic wars. And it'll be cheaper. Like, just think about how much money the country would save if we didn't fight each other here and we helped each other. There'll be more jobs. Right. So when we vote and we stand together, like when we voted for Trump, we shook up politics. That was a great feat. That was a good thing. I mean, unfortunately, the left, gave up on Al Gore. They let that guy took away a lot of votes from the left, and he lost to George Bush. I think that if Al Gore would have won the election, we would have been living in a different country. We would have had a different form, or it could have been worse. I don't know, but maybe 9/11 would have never happened, because that was a really bad thing that happened. But we have to move on from that. We have to make things better from that. We can't continue to, harp on that. But I'm going to be here one more minute. We were streaming for 3.5 hours. I may come back on tonight with my new microphone and my cat, Beamer, sitting right here. Let's see if it's seeing. There he is. That's my cat. He's hanging out right there. Thanks, McGreewan. Appreciate it. I like having you here, and everyone else who was here. Alexander, the Redneck Connection, All American Grandpa, LeBain, Jerry's Woodworking Shop. Mr. Grewan, thank you for coming in, buddy. Saves was here. The names Josiah was here. And there was a lot of people here earlier. Alana Grassi was here. Let's see who's still here. Ability of Mom of Two was here. Is still here. James Tamboro is still here. West Virginia Motard is still here. And there's a lot of people still here. But I want to thank everyone for having a great stream.
Everyone got along great, and that's what it's about. And that's why we need to stand for the national anthem and respect our flag as our home, because that's what that means. And have a great day. God bless everyone. Peace out.